Yo guys, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you guys doing? Sorry guys, I was a bit late. But yeah, inshallah, we can start this live. See if there's any Christians that want to come up. Be sure to like guys as well. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So the link is there for anyone that wants to come up. Any Christians want to address the Christian dilemma. Be sure to come up, inshallah ta'ala. Can we access the material you and Libiano taught in the Decoding Christianity class by joining the Discord? If we're unable to attend the class, no. Did you apply for the course, Akhi? If you did, the material's there. It should be accessible for you. So just let me know, inshallah. Yeah, sure. So God can be used for other than Almighty God. We know this in the Bible. There's multiple instances, such as Exodus chapter 7, verse 1, Psalm chapter 82. You have multiple other instances in the Bible where God is used for other than God. So because of this doesn't prove that Jesus is Almighty God. It just proves that, he's a highly elevated person. Yeah, because humans are even called gods. So God could mean Almighty God, however, because I gave you the semantic range where it could be other than God, because of that reason, in conjunction with the fact that we have verses where Jesus clearly denotes he's not God, we have to read it holistically. No, Akhi, sorry, we're not doing that. Just because the material for the course, if it's not interactive and you didn't join during it, it's not going to be too beneficial. Um, yeah, so for that reason, we're not selling any recordings of it or whatnot. It's only people that engaged in the course. We're looking to do another course, inshallah, in about 6 months' time. Seems like a good portion of people that did the first course really liked it and they want to have another one that's more advanced, inshallah. In your live stream, yeah, inshallah. Inshallah, I will start recording. Wish you're in London, yeah. Yeah, I can see why. Hello, Lewis.
Yo, hello.
Yo, you Muslim?
I have a question. Yeah, I have a question.
All right. You start by saying Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, bro. By the way, I love your videos. By the way, I was gonna say,
Barakallahu fik.
like I know the isn't the Islamic dilemma just like presupposing that the Quran confirms the previous scriptures in a whole?
Yes.
Yeah, but I also want to say, like, when they use like 1094, it says like, "Oh Prophet, if you're in doubt, look in the previous scriptures," right? Does this refer to people like Abdullah bin Salam, or does this refer to Muslims in general?
It doesn't matter. Okay, so first of all, who are you talking about when you say, is this referring to the people that you're asking or the people that are doubting?
Like, I'm talking about the verse.
The verse has two people, the people that you're going to ask and the people that are going to be in doubt to ask.
It says, "Oh Prophet, if you're in doubt, look in the previous scriptures."
It doesn't say, oh, prophet. It says you. So you there is talking about the Muslim. Well, you could take it to be the Muslims that could be in doubt, or and this is the preferable one. I think this is what's talking about.
I mean,
It's
I'm going
talk.
off of Quran.com. That's why. So it says, "Say, O Prophet."
Can you read the Arabic?
No, I can't.
Yeah, that's why very important to learn Arabic. أخي. So it says, فَإِن كُنْتَ فِي شَكٍّ. Doesn't say if you, O Prophet. Prophet in Arabic is Nabi. Doesn't say that. It says if you are in doubt. Just remove. And anyways, in Quran.com, when it's you see these. Let me show you. You see these the symbol here, how
Yeah.
it's surrounded, O Prophet. That means it's not in the text.
So that's just more. Yeah, that's just explaining it, right? That's just a quotation.
Yeah. So the person who's translating is taking the interpretation. It's talking about the Prophet, but it's an impossible hypothetical to highlight a point. Similar to how another verse in the Quran says, if you Prophet lied about revelation, then we would have severed your aorta. But that's an impossible hypothetical to just give a sort of point across, yeah? So this person who's translating it is taking that interpretation. It's an impossible hypothetical, backed up by early tafsir. Now, the people that are in doubt, likely, is talking about the the Quraysh, the Meccans. If you are in doubt about these stories, if you're in doubt about prophets coming down as human beings, if you are in doubt about certain aspects, but that the Quran is coming with, you're saying, "Oh, this is all foreign." If you're in doubt, go and ask those people that read the scripture before you, because they'll tell you that it isn't unprecedented. There is a precedent for what's being said. Okay? So here's another example of this language being used. We did not send messengers before you, O Prophet, except mere men inspired by us. If you do not know this already, so again, polytheism in brackets in it. There's a lot of brackets here. But basically it's saying if you do not know, then ask those who have knowledge of the scriptures. Yeah. So again, a lot of brackets here, but it's basically go and ask those that know.
Yeah.
Those
So I
that
mean,
know
but
what? Yeah.
sorry to interrupt you, but like some of the scholars, right? I'm pretty sure if you go to Ibn Kathir's translation, he says this refers to like knowledgeable people like Abdullah bin Salam, right? Like, would you accept that it says what? Because some people say, right, like they say that this verse, like some scholars say that it refers to a specific person, like Abdullah bin Salam doesn't refer to general Muslims. That's what I heard.
That doesn't. Okay. That's what the people that you ask, or the people that are in doubt.
Sorry, what? Repeat that again. So you cut out.
Okay. That's all good. So remember, I'll bring back the verse. Okay. So we're just gonna do this. You tell me who they are. If you are in doubt about what we have revealed to you, okay. So who's in doubt?
That would be like the pagans, the polytheists, the people
Pagans,
that never.
exactly, because of what we just read. Okay. Then ask those who read the scripture before you. Yeah. So who's that?
That could be talking about like knowledgeable people about the scriptures, like, or just
Yeah. So it's preferably talking about Abdullah bin Salam, because how are you going to trust? The Quran's not going to tell you go trust random disbelieving Jews and Christians, because the Quran already tells you that they're disingenuous and they hide stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So whether it's Abdullah bin Salam or that doesn't change anything. The main crux of their argument isn't who's in doubt. It isn't who you're asking. It's why is it that the Quran's telling to go to the previous scriptures as a standard? And the rebuttal to that is, it's not being used as a standard. It's being used as something to show that there's precedent for what the Quran is saying. There's a precedent for monotheism existing. There's a precedent for prophets being sent down as human figures, not angels. There's a precedent for these stories that we're giving you. You can find Noah, Moses, etc. in the previous scriptures. This is what the Quran is saying.
I mean, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah, so it's specific. It's not something that's going to be absolute. And we know this because it's multiple times, bro. It's not even just Surah Al-Nahl that I gave you. There's also, if I'm not mistaken. Guys, is there any other verses you can tell me where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, he talks about Ahl al-Dhikr, or talks about those that read the scripture before you, besides Surah Al-Nahl and Surah Yunus. Pretty sure there's one. Let's have a look here.
I'm pretty sure there's another verse that talks about that. Actually, I'm trying to find.
Should be a couple more.
Yeah, I mean, because like I debate Christians, right, and like they use these arguments, but they're very low tier, right? Like this one's especially because this one just like it just presupposes that the Quran's confirming the previous scriptures, but it says stories. The verse prior is talking about something specific.
21:7 is the other one, yeah. 21:7. So I've never seen someone use this rebuttal. Actually, it's a very good rebuttal. It's the fact that you have Surah Al-Nahl, Surah Al-Anbiya, and then I think there's still a couple more, or one more at least, and they're always like, go and ask them about specific stuff. It's never like absolute here. So we did not send messengers before you, O Prophet, except mere men inspired by us. If you polytheists do not know this already, then ask those who have knowledge of the scriptures. So again, it's go and ask them if you don't know about a specific thing. So following that vein of logic, you have chapter 21 verse 7. You have Surah Al-Nahl that I gave, as well as yes, the brothers also gave 1643. Barakallahu fiqh. 1643. I think that's it. I think it's no, sorry, yeah, that's Surah Al-Nahl. No, all good, all good. There should still be one more, I think. I think there's still one more. Whatever. The point is that I already gave enough. We gave a couple verses showing that chapter 10 verse 94, in the context of how the Quran uses this phrase, go and ask them if you don't know, go and ask them if you don't know, talking about specific things. Yeah. And here in the context, it's likely about the stories, because that's what is being said, right? Whenever the Quran says, if you don't know this, go and ask them. If you don't know this, go and ask them. The context before he says, go and ask them if you don't know, is the story of Noah, peace be upon him, and also the story of the Israelites with Pharaoh and Musa alayhi salam. So, yeah, that's the context there. Now, yeah, that's enough for that. Yeah. So, is there any other questions you got?
I was gonna ask another one, but I just forgot about it. I was gonna ask about something else, but yeah, man. Thank you for answering my question. All right. Assalamu alaikum. Right. Take care.
All right. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. There's no other guests. So, guys, if you could just like up the live, let's like it up, inshallah. Here we go. You know what's a good justification as well that I was going to give the brother to show that's talking about the Muslim people generally, not the Prophet ﷺ. Even that's not the crux. The crux isn't like who you ask, or the crux isn't who's doubting. The crux is, why are you using the Bible as a standard? And then the response is just a specific thing. Go and ask them about a specific thing if you're in doubt. It's kind of like if I give you an example of if someone says, "Oh, you Jews fabricated these stories in the Bible, in the Old Testament," and then the Jew says, "No, no, no. You see the story of that we find in the 5 books of Moses. You also find it in the Samaritan Pentateuch. If you're in doubt, go and ask those that have the Samaritan Pentateuch. They'll show you that we're not just making it up. There's a precedent for what we're saying in other traditions." So, yeah. Also, this قُلْ يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ إِن كُنْتُمْ فِي شَكٍّ. So, same sort of phraseology from before. Chapter 10, verse 104. Oh, say, O Prophet, O humanity. So, specifically, O humanity. So, the other one didn't say, O Prophet. This one does say, O humanity. If you are in doubt of my faith, then know that I do not worship those idols you worship instead of Allah. Yeah. So, same sort of phrasing. In kuntum fi shakkin, in the context of the nas. And then if you look here, فإن كنت في شك مما أنزلنا إليك. If you, O Prophet, are in doubt So again, yeah, O Prophet's not in there. So if you are in doubt about what we have revealed to you. So that's an indication it's talking about humanity. The easiest way to explain 1094 is just to say it's proving precedence of concepts like yes, exactly, yeah. But can you also explain it by saying it's telling Muslims who are in doubt to ask Muslims who know the previous scriptures? Yeah. That's the point. The point is it's specific. The point is it's specific about what it's talking about. The context is more so about the stories, I think. But your explanation is possible, yeah. That's what Ibn Taymiyyah gives a whole list of concepts that you could go ask the previous scriptures or the previous people about the previous scriptures. Conscious edits. Saw a piece post on what happened last night in London. These guys are so disingenuous. Yeah. Yeah, we do use them. We do. We still got to give an explanation for these verses. Yo, Isaac.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Hello, Akhidin. It's been a couple of days. How are you?
Good. Alhamdulillah. What's up?
I just wanted to ask you about a really specific point. I heard this really, I believe it's a bad argument for people trying to, push the idea of Islamic dilemma, but I already know many ways to refute that, but I just wanted to ask that specifically. It's about the verse of Solomon when it says وَمَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانَ وَلَكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا. Basically,
Yeah.
and Solomon didn't disbelieve, but then it says يُعَلِمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. Well, I don't know. It says the idea is that Solomon never disbelieved because of magic, but the thing is, I don't know. It isn't really. It almost feels like it's implicated because it says it just Solomon didn't disbelieve, the demons disbelieved, and they teach people magic. I don't know. It just feels like, oh, so maybe people thought Solomon teached magic, and then it goes on to say that isn't mentioned in the Bible. But again, even if isn't mentioned, it can be like, I don't know, Talmudic tradition or something that, and the Quran is just fixing this, just correcting people. So what are your thoughts on that?
What are my thoughts on exactly?
Like, is that a good way to reconcile it?
What does it need to be reconciled?
I don't know, like the Quran is, they say the Quran is assuming there's a true if you think about it, no, I'm sorry, it's really stupid. Yeah, there's nothing to fix or reconcile.
If they say there can't be true stuff and other things outside the Bible, then
No, they're wrong.
Yeah, then why is Jude quoting First Enoch?
Yeah, or he's also quoting the Assumption of Moses. But there's another point that, I don't know, I asked a couple of people about it. I didn't get a response, but just want to hear your thoughts as well. Do you know the specific claim about that the story of Joseph is taken from Syrianic poetry, I believe?
Yeah, most of them are stretches.
So it's just stretched. I know the initial belief that they said it's from Midrash or like some other Talmudic things.
Yeah, a lot of them are stretches. Some of them are like from the Talmud. Some of them are valid. Even then, some of them they could post-date Islam.
Well, the Talmud, the Midrash, like they do have roots that can go back to like the time of Ezra, I believe, in academia. So it's
yeah. But the point is that even stuff there, it could be that it postdates Islam. So you just gotta take everything on a case by case basis. You gotta look at it by case basis. Even Jesus alayhi salam, he generally confirmed the oral teachings of the Jews at the time as well.
Yeah. Well, this also like about the Are you talking about when he says, "Do everything they tell you"? The Pharisees. Wait,
Yeah.
are you talking about
Yep.
Isa?
Yep.
Yeah. So this specifically, how do the Christians reconcile it through their own text, though? I never found like the only.
Many, if you go to Bible Hub, many of them will say that he's generally confirming.
It's just a general confirmation, although he says do everything, which is kind of explicit.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point. Everything could still be generally the same way that the disciples tell Jesus, we know now that you know everything. You know?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I get it.
So it's general or it's hyperbolic or whatever they want to say. The point is that everything doesn't mean absolutely everything. Now, there's commentaries here as well that we could show.
Sure.
Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Yeah. So Gill says, all therefore whatever they observe, this must be restrained to the things that are agreeable to chair Moses in which they sat, which they read and explained to other parts of scripture and truth in general.
Yeah, so it's a general confirmation.
Yeah. Here's another one from Barnes' Notes. The word all could not be taken without restriction, for Christ himself accuses them teaching many things contrary to the law. So he's saying there's a restriction, it's not absolutely everything, yeah? Here's the final one, pulpits. All that they taught or commanded out of the law or in due accordance therewith was to be observed and obeyed. The statement is made in general terms.
I see. Although all this, like I get, we have a better case than them when it comes to the set.
Exactly, because the Quran never says it's confirming everything.
It also says that it's the muhaymin, which is like in Arabic, just
Yeah.
being the authority. So yeah.
And plus, what's the justification for them saying it's a general? They say, oh, because Jesus consciously edited their teachings at times. That's why.
We do have the, like in Quran saying, bayda biduni saqam. It's simply like it's white without
Yep.
leper. It's talking about Moses' hand.
Yep.
He's rejecting the fact that his hand was sick or leprous. This is conscious.
But anyways, yeah, okay. Do you have any other questions?
No, I believe these are all of them. Yeah.
All right.
What about?
Take care.
Yeah. Wait. I recalled one question. Sorry if I'm being.
It's all good. Take your time.
I think in the. I don't know how to pronounce this. How do you say the book of David, the book that was
Psalms. Yep.
Yeah, Psalms 84. Is it actually the same Becca in the Quran, or is that a stretch?
Yep. There's a case to make there. Yep.
Okay. That's good. I will be back, and I hope you can answer more questions if I'm not being annoying.
No, you're good, akhi. All right.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
All right, Muhammad. Assalamu alaikum. Got any questions, akhi?
No, yeah, I was gonna ask you, what do you think about the whole Libyan situation? What happened? I didn't hear you say anything about it.
Nothing. I'm just chilling. I don't really care.
You didn't care, huh? I heard that, during the altercation, he also mentioned your name. Was talking, that idiot, Chris. He's talking about, I'm looking for Dean as well to talk about this Islamic dilemma. That's all he cares about.
Look. If someone does really well in a debate, let's put it this way. Someone does well in a debate. Would they be looking to eagerly rematch the person that they destroyed?
That's right, bro. That's why he seems triggered, because I think, the 4 verses 2, remember you and Libiano, I think that triggered him a lot. That's why he was super mad, you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah. I mean, it shows that, Sam Shamoun was even talking about how this guy, he was made into something he's not.
They don't, bro. You notice how they don't want to defend their Bible at all, bro. They just want to talk about the stupid dilemma. They never
Yeah,
want to talk about
if I
anything
was
else.
there, I would tell him, look, we can talk about the Islamic dilemma as long as we can discuss afterwards whether Jesus claimed to be God or Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the Bible or something like that, you know?
Yeah, I think we should do that. We should stop entertaining them. You know what I mean? Like we shouldn't let them dictate whatever they want to talk about every single time because
Exactly.
I feel like they just want to do that. Yeah, that's all I want to say. I was gonna say, are you gonna live in TikTok? You said once you hit 50, so I'm not sure what happened.
Did I reach 50?
I'm not sure. Last time I checked, it was 45 or something. That was like 6 hours ago or something. Should be there.
Yeah, still need like 6.
Oh, that's good, but I can't wait for that because a lot of Christians would join, like I said, if you're in TikTok for sure. Sure.
Yeah, is there any sorry, actually, I just got a message, sorry. Yeah, so what do you think about what do you think about the situation? What's your opinion with the Chris thing? Yeah,
Are you asking me?
what's your opinion on the Chris thing?
Yeah, it's just sad, man. Like he was asking for violence. He came for violence, got what he wanted. It's completely deserved. We don't condone violence, by the way, obviously, right? But it was obvious that was gonna eventually happen. They was instigating all the time. You know what I mean? He was obviously drunk. He's denying it, but that was obvious.
Yeah, it was quite obvious. Saturday night, whatever it was,
Yeah. So, these people are not, bro. The thing that annoys me that much is we're eager to look for the piano in the speaker corner, but sadly now Leon is not gonna go there because of these clowns, which is annoying. But it is what it is.
Yeah. I know exactly I'll get the next guest on, inshallah. But yeah, barakallah feek for your presence. Assalamu alaikum. Elijah.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Walaikum salam. Yep.
Wait, do you believe that Paul actually believed Jesus to be co-equal and co-substantial with God the Father, or no?
No.
He did not believe it?
No.
So when in Colossians 2:9 it says the entirety of deity was like revealed in Jesus, how do you interpret that?
Similar things are said about the believers.
Like the entire deity was also in the believers?
Yeah.
Wait,
let me just get the verse up. So
yeah.
2 Peter 1:4, so that through them you may become partakers of the divine nature, having escaped the corruption that is in the world of sinful desire.
You said 2 Peter and 3 what?
1:4.
1:4. Oh, okay.
So we're going to be partakers into the divine nature of God. That doesn't mean that we're consubstantial. So yeah, same thing here with Jesus. Just because he's partaking in the divinity, even if we grant that, it doesn't mean that he's consubstantial. Now, there's also another verse. Give me a second here. Let's see.
But wait, doesn't Paul believe that we're gonna be gods in the in heaven?
And yeah, that's the point. Yeah, that's the point. The point is that we're not actually God in heaven, like in the ultimate sense.
So can I not say, if I was a Christian, right? Can a Christian not say, since this refers to being a God and Jesus was in the same context as 2 Peter 1:4, how can Jesus not be God when you actually believe that 2 Peter 1:4 is actually about partaking in and becoming a God?
Paul doesn't believe you're going to become Yahweh.
So he believes that we're going to become like lesser Yahweh in a sense, or
lesser gods, yeah. Partaking in divinity. Now, in Ephesians 3:19, It says, "You may be filled with all the fullness of God."
Ephesians
Doesn't-
what?
Yeah, Ephesians 3:19.
3:19.
I mean, if you want to believe that that means that you're Yahweh, then okay, that means okay. If we grant that Paul thinks that we're all going to be Yahweh, then
So, wait, hold on. Let me read this. So, what's the context of Colossians 2:9, where it says that the entirety of deity is going to be revealed through the Christ?
another thing is that saying that it's so Christians don't believe God is made out of parts. So saying that you can have a full of God or a part of God doesn't make any sense. There's no
Wait,
such
can I
thing
not-
as full and part. So their interpretation is really bad. Now, the context for that passage is, well, it depends who you ask, right? So someone might have a more Jehovah's Witness interpretation. Some others will have a more just lesser, like Unitarian interpretation. You could just take the interpretation here in Colossians. It's just talking about God dwelling within Jesus, just like in John, but not in the literal sense where God is literally inside of him.
So, how is God inside of Jesus in John?
In a spiritual sense, obviously, because he says that Jesus' words will be in us in John. So obviously the indwelling isn't literal. You also have the idea that Jesus will literally be inside of us as well. So Jesus being
Paul
in us isn't literal.
And Paul
The
talks
Father,
about that, right?
yeah, the Father being literally inside of Jesus isn't literal because he's not literally inside of him. This is all spiritual indwelling. I think the best justification for that is where Jesus says, I could just pull it up here actually. It's in John
Wait, can
15.
I interpret Colossians chapter 2 to mean that God actually reveals his knowledge to Jesus, which means so because the context says that do not actually believe in the wisdom and fine sounding arguments of this world,
Yeah.
but believe in what God has revealed. Can I not believe that? Or
Yeah, it's a fine interpretation.
okay.
Let me just show you this verse here.
Yeah.
Let's get this up. There we go. So you see how in John 15 it says, you are already clean because of the word I've spoken to you. Remain in me. So are we literally in Jesus?
No. I think that
As I
means
also remain in you. Okay, so if we're not literally in Jesus, that means that
Yeah.
Jesus isn't literally in us then, because he's saying, as I also remain in you, right?
so that means like your remembrance of him, right?
Yeah, being in
Basically.
unity in purpose, not unity, not in the literal sense. And here as well, if you remain in me and my words may remain in you, you see? So is his words literally inside of us?
Like in the form of like thoughts and teachings, right?
Yeah, so it's not literal. Make sense?
Yeah.
So God being in him doesn't have to be literal.
What about Timothy where it says that God was manifested in flesh?
Yeah, you can take the same interpretation.
God there is like similar to how Psalms portray one of the Davidic
No.
king.
God, look, Jesus is the image of the invisible God. That's how you can take it.
More faith, right?
Yeah.
But wait, how do I interpret that? Like, should I say that the image there means that he's actually a representative of God, like how he
Yeah.
receives revelation?
Yeah, you can take it that way. But the point, bro, if you are the image of God, then you're not God. Like it's very clear.
Okay, is that wording like used for anything other than Jesus? Like image of God.
Image. Yeah, aren't we made in the image of God?
Yeah, but Christian can't interpret that. Jesus
Okay.
was like in the beginning, and Jesus made us in His image.
Yeah, so being made in the beginning. Okay, those passages where it talks about Jesus being made in the beginning and everything came through him. Yeah, those are saying he literally pre-existed, but he's being used as a tool for creation. No one had this idea of Jesus being co-equal with the Father in personhood. Like Jesus was a co-eternal person. He's eternally a person, eternally the Son, equal with the Father. No one had this idea for the first 3 centuries. What they believed was Jesus pre-existed in the form of being God's word. When God wanted to begin creating, he emitted him, and then there's this lesser deity that pre-existed with God. That's what they believed at the most.
Okay, and yeah, that makes sense. What about like do you know that that girl, that woman on TikTok with account name of like a bread emoji? Do you know that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So she said about not knowing the hour. She said that that's in the context.
I refuted there already. Yeah. There's a
So
YouTube video where I refuted there. Yeah.
where she says that means Jesus.
Jewish wedding motif. Yeah.
Yeah. Why is it? So can you just summarize it? Like, why is it not viable?
Go watch it.
The video? Okay, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's there. I want more. So do you believe? You know how in the Quran it says that Earth was created after the heavens, right? But other word says that the wording there, I think, is gonna be. Wait, how you said that in Arabic?
It's not khalaqa. Yeah.
No. Wait. So in chapter, I think another chapter it says that the earth was created after the heavens. I mean, yeah. And then in chapter 79, it says that the heavens were created before then the earth. But the word there is gonna be not sequential. It's gonna be like saying,
Yeah.
furthermore,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It says good. You're not doing a great job in explaining, but I know what you're talking about. So
Yeah.
here, if you go, there's a video where I already refuted this, so I get the gist of what you're saying. So it
So
says what it says. وَبَعْدَ ذَلِكَ دَهَاهَا.
yeah.
Yeah.
Can I not
So
interpret that whole
yeah,
like
just watch the video. I have a video on that as well. Just watch it.
I get that, but can I interpret that verse to
Have you
mean-
watched the video?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
You have. Okay, so you should already know the answer.
I know, but I want to know, like, can I interpret the heaven there to mean the sky?
It could, yeah.
Okay.
You could
But
make
if
a distinction. You could make a distinction between the samawat and the samat. Yeah, that's another interpretation that's not included in the video. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. What about? I think that's it. Wait, so yeah, one more. In the Quran, it says that the earth is like spread out, but we know that that's from your own perspective, right? Can
Yeah.
I take your interpretation, or is there anything more to that?
Yep.
It's from our perspective, right?
Yep.
Well, how do we know that? Because when it says that it was like spread out, it doesn't really say in exact words that it's our. It doesn't imply it's from our perspective.
The revelation of the Quran is for humans, so it's going to speak from the human perspective.
But Quran also speaks in non-human perspective, right?
Then
You
that
know
will
how
be unintelligible.
in the creation, like in the beginning, God created this and that, but that's not from human perspective because we can't really see it, right?
Yeah. So when you're talking about stuff that has to do with ilm al-ghayb, that's not what I mean by it's not. He's explaining it in a way where it's still intelligible for us, but it's beyond our comprehension. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala here is trying to make a point that the earth is spread out to make the point of what? That you're able to do things now. You're able to live on it. You're able to plant on it. You're able to rest on it, etc. Now, that point to be made is different from when he's speaking about his power and so on and talking about matters of ilm al-ghayb in the past. So to get this point across from stuff that we can visually see, not stuff from ilm al-ghayb from the past that we can't see, the stuff that we can see, to make that point across, they obviously have to be from our perspective. Otherwise, the point would seem unintelligible. If Allah speaking from His perspective on matters, it's going to be unintelligible. It's going to be something that isn't going to resonate with us. For this point to resonate with us, how we experience the world, it would require that Allah describes it in a way, the way that we experience it.
All right, sounds good. What about? Can I ask you about Shia questions, and then I can go?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know how they say that Umar ibn Khattab, right? May Allah be pleased with him, actually ran away from like one of the battles against the mushrikeen, and they said that, oh, look, he's a coward, right? Why don't you follow our sources, which portrays the prophet to be better than your sources, right? And the companions such as like Abu Bakr and Aisha and like and Umar is gonna be they're gonna be called the cowards in our tradition, even by our own standards, because he ran away. Do you know that argument or no?
Yeah. So what's the what's the point?
Yeah, so I heard a guy, right? So he said that Umar ran away. Do you know that one? Because I'm not too sure. I've heard that like by Shias a lot.
Yeah. So there's no authentic evidence that he ran, but just let me say that to be clear. There's no authentic evidence that says that. However,
Yeah.
even if okay, what's the point?
Wouldn't that make him like less in the eyes of the prophet, or because he
No.
ran? No, why not?
There's the many Muslims that ran in battle, and they still didn't diminish in the eyes of the Prophet ﷺ. That doesn't matter. They companions do mistakes, they do sins. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgive them for that, but they have a lot of good qualities as well. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in his time period, there was companions who did wrong, did big mistakes even, and yet still have highest of rankings, right? So that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. The amount of sacrifice Umar ibn Khattab gave, may Allah be pleased with him, the amount that he did for the Ummah, conquering all of Persia during his caliphate, the Prophet ﷺ has so many praises regarding him. You can't just cherry pick from the from the corpus. You can't cherry pick from it and say, okay, yeah, this is one hadith that, even if authentic, okay, it shows him in this light. Okay, but what about all the other narrations from our corpus that says if there's a prophet after me, it'll be Umar? What about the narration where Umar says Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala agreed with me 3 times? And then he starts it 3 times. How about the narration where so on and so on and so on, how his death was martyrdom, so on. So that he has so many redemptive qualities and great qualities that overshadow anything that you can bring that he potentially did in the past.
So, what was the reason as to why he ran away? Was he like,
so
or
so brother, like I said before, even if it's authentic,
yeah,
if someone feels the need that it's better to run away than to stay, and
Yeah.
they're making their own ijtihad, they're making their own type of opinionated decision, then that's something that there would be accountable for, and they could get wrong. In the same way, we have companions having their own, they maybe did stuff wrong in fighting and so on, but these are matters of ijtihad where they tried their best and they didn't conclude with the right conclusion. However, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive them for their misdeeds, and we also assume the best from them. But the narration is not authentic. But I'm even entertaining it just for the sake to show that there's nothing.
What about when I think some Shia says that like someone killed unalived one of the, I think Fatima or her like daughter or something by like using a door or something. Do you know that
Well,
one?
what's the evidence?
Do you know the argument or?
Yeah, I know the argument. What's the evidence?
No, I'm just asking. Do you know like how they articulate it, or because I'm not? and then you can like give me your refutation, and then I can go about searching on based on that.
No. What's the evidence?
I think it's a conjecture.
Okay, so if it's conjecture, why do we have to entertain it?
So there's no like actual narration that actually says that, right? Like it's not.
There's no authentic narration in the Shia or Sunni books that says it. There's even shuyukh from the Shia that doubt its authenticity as well.
Okay.
The fact that the story happened.
All right. Oh, that's it, man. That's
Yep.
it. All right, man. See you.
All right, take care. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Isaac.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry for
Salam.
being back here really quickly, but I wanted you to address like a couple of points, not really long. So do you take the position that Matthew 22 is like one of the best prophecies for
Yeah,
Islam?
that's good.
Can we use like for Ezra to support it?
What does it say?
It's for Ezra or two Esdras, 32 through 40. Can I read it for you, or like do you already know it?
Depends what part.
It says, it goes on to the, like previously describes the destruction of the temple, and it says, I will give your home to a people that is about to appear. They will believe me even though they have not heard of me. They will do what I command, even though I never performed any miracles for them. By the way, this is like wrote at the same time in John was wrote. They have not
Yep.
They have not seen the prophets, but they will live by their ancient teachings. I give my solemn promise that I will bless those people, and their little children will laugh and shout for joy. Those people have never seen me, but deep within them they will believe my words. Now, Father Ezra, look with pride at the people you see coming from the east. So it's like a reference to the people of the east.
Okay.
And I recall in Jeremiah, the people of the east are.
Wait, keep reading. Keep reading out.
Keep reading. Okay. Look at the leaders I have given them: Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Hosea, Amos, Micah, Joel, Bida, Jonah, Nahum, Habakkuk. It goes on to list names. Malachi, who's also.
What does it say after? Yep.
Should I keep reading?
Yeah. Is that where it ends, or it keeps going?
It's 40. This is 40.
Yep. Do you want to just finish the chapter?
Oh wait, I think I can. Okay, I think it ends.
Okay, so the point is that anything that's specifically about very, very detailed, talking about the Ishmaelites in Second Esdras is commonly seen to be a later redaction. Okay, so if that's what you're quoting.
This one specifically, I did like kind of read some scholarship about it. This actually dates to the period. I think the Arabian Corsair Dragon part is actually a later addition, but this part is actually authentic.
Yeah. So if this part isn't the part that has the Arabian part specifically, where it adds that layer.
No, that doesn't. I know this one. I'm well aware on the Arabian like dragon thing. That
says. So as long as you've checked the scholarship to say that this part isn't a later redaction, it's fine then.
It's not that. It's I also like read that this parables with Jesus sayings. I don't know.
Yep.
I think also there's like a reference to Isaiah here when it says their children will laugh and shout for joy. This is like it's linked to the second question that I had, or the second topic, which is Isaiah 42.
Yeah.
I'm not well educated about it, but what I know is that it's a good prophecy generally, but I heard a way Christians push back, which it's kind of reasonable if you go to Isaiah 49. It also says that Jacob explicitly is a light for all nations, which is
Isaiah
like,
49, yep.
yeah, it says Jacob is a light for all nations. It's the same description of the said servants of Isaiah 42, which then, opens actually door for doubt that it could be, collective Israel, like many said. I know Ibn Ezra and like other commentators said it's Cyrus or Isaiah himself. Also read that some people say it's the Messiah. But yeah, how do we reconcile that?
It doesn't say Jacob is light to the Gentiles. Where does it say that?
It doesn't?
That's a reading you can take, but that's not the only reading you can take.
Wait. I don't know. It's the NIV said it's too small, I think, for you to be my servant, to restore their tribes of Jacob and bring back those of Israel I have kept. I will make you a light for the Gentiles. Isn't this in reference to Jacob?
Yeah, so there's two possible readings.
Mm-hmm.
You can say it's talking about Jacob, the righteous remnant.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you could say, sorry, I was getting a call on Discord. 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Hello, guys. By the way, Shia books, like, I have here, what is it? Which book? It's Khatim al-Tafdhil Wasa'il al-Shia. It's a book from one of the chosen books of the Shia. The guy says, in page 206, he says, the same applies to the narration of the most illustrious and trustworthy narrators, such as the people of the consensus, and they're like from the weak, the liars, and unknown. Even though the elite narrators known their conditions, yet they narrated from them, acted upon their hadith, and testified for their authenticity. The Shia literally, like, they know their people of the consensus narrate from liars and unknowns. And also, the same book, what does the guy say? And it's that which is not known to have a reliable chain is known that the chain is merely a path leading to the original notebook of the trustworthy scholar from which the hadith was taken. The benefit of mentioning the chain is purely for seeking blessing, tabarruk, through the continuity of the oral transmission chain and the rebel of the criticism of the commoners, aka the Sunnis, against the Shia. So like they put the isnad there as a tabarruk. It's not a real isnad, it's just forgery. What else?
I'm back. I'm back. So here.
Yeah.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah.
Here we go. So
did you share?
Yeah. So it says, he said to me, you are my servant, Israel, in whom I will display my splendor. But I said, I've labored in vain. I've spent my strength for nothing at all. Yet what is due is in the Lord's hand, and my reward is with my God. And now the Lord says, he who formed me in the womb to be a servant, to bring Jacob back to him, and gather Israel to himself. So you see, this person's gathering Israel to himself, bringing Jacob back to God. You understand?
Yeah.
So how can it be Jacob? How can it be Israel? So you could make that distinction and say, look, yeah.
Well, some say it's the righteous remnant.
Righteous remnant, exactly, yeah. So that's what I'm getting to. So you could say, oh, it's the righteous remnant, but you could also take the reading that, no, this is somebody else. And there's the suffering servant and there's the redemptive servant. There's the suffering servant Israel, and then there's the person who's the light to the Gentiles who gather Israel back to himself. Okay? Now, that's the reading you can take, and that's the reading that these scholars take when they say, oh, it's Cyrus, or they say it's the Messiah, or whatever. The earliest interpretation we have on Isaiah 42 is that it's the Son of Man, actually. We have that in 1 Enoch, right? So Our earliest
Okay.
interpretation isn't that it's Israel.
Oh.
Okay. So,
For my
yeah.
knowledge, I don't know. I have some of my friends. I don't know if I think you know them, but you won't probably recall. But they're really opposing the idea of the Son of Man. They say it's like they say it's like how do you say? It's high crystalline, it's just, I don't know. I think they say it's shirk, and it does not have to do anything with the Prophet. I don't know. I'm not aware.
Yeah,
But
why
yeah,
is it shirk? Bring them here. I'll speak to them.
no, I think you personally know them, bro. But who are they? Wait, you know the
Just bring
guy?
them here. We can speak.
I don't think they're online now. Yeah, none of them are online.
What's shirk about it? Who are they?
So,
Or who are they? Tell me.
you know Reuben ibn Adam?
Ibn. Yes. Yeah, no, I know them. Reuben. I haven't spoken to Reuben yet, but no, Ibn
He-
Adam. Ibn Adam has been spoken to, but it doesn't buy. That's fine. But you can look. Just don't.
I'm with them in a group. I don't know. It's
That's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Yeah.
The point is actually this: is that the what is part of the Son of Man stuff that's shirk?
I think one idea I can call on the top of my head is, they say the Quran makes the fun of, I think, the part of Daniel when it says the Son of Man come with the clouds, and it says in the Quran that they expect Allah will come the clouds to them or something like that. So I don't know. I heard that is one of the many things. I guess also forgiving sins, that He forgives sins.
Yeah, but
also-
you don't have to take that interpretation. You can say it's talking about humanity announcing forgiveness of sin.
It can be.
Of course, you know that's an interpretation.
No, I'm not aware. I'm aware that the Son of Man, as a figure, that He is the one that He forgives on His own. Like He have
In
the
Mark 2?
authority to them. Yeah.
Yeah, no. So you can take the interpretation. It's talking about humanity.
I know that it's an OT reading, that the Son of Man generally just means humanity.
No,
So-
here it's talking. Yeah, so you could take that reading. That's right. Yeah, and even Son of Man is used to mean humanity later in that chapter in Lord of the Sabbath, right? So here it's talking about the announcing of forgiveness of sin. Even if it's talking particularly about Jesus, anyways, you can still take that interpretation. It's talking about the announcement of forgiveness of sin. You just say this means the same thing that what John says when John says that the disciples forgive sins, and that's it. And also the imagery, I don't buy that. The imagery is too. It's not very close.
And I
to the point
know
where-
a way to
yeah.
reply to that. It just the Son of Man, kingdom of God, it's just an imagery that the kingdoms are idolaters and of earth, so they rise from the bottom and He comes from the sky.
Yeah.
Which means higher
Yeah.
status. Yeah. Oh. Well, yeah, I didn't have a lot of problem with that. I guess that I had a lot of
The main one someone will say is the Son of Man is going to sit on the throne of God. That's one thing they might say.
we have the sin of Mujahid. I know, but I had
Exactly.
even before I
So
was
I'm just
aware-
going through everything. I'm going through everything for the audience as well. So that's
Mhm.
one thing that they might bring as well. Another thing they might bring is the Son of Man is going to judge all of humanity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you look at the Gospels and how they use judge, well, first of all, doesn't the Prophet ﷺ, isn't he a witness against all of humankind?
Yeah, but they say al-shafa is just him being, how do I say, him testifying for his ummah, that he's
So he's a witness against them.
yeah.
Yeah. So first of all, judge can mean witness. So when it's saying that he's judging them, you can just take that to mean he's a witness against them. So we can look at a couple of passages. So
Is
For
that like supported
example-
within, the do we have basis on that?
yeah, I'll show you right now.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. If I search the text, will it show up? Let's see. Actually, wait. First, I got this one. All right, here we go. So Jesus said to them, "Truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel. Isn't that them being a witness against them?
So that like they don't actually judge them; they just witness.
Yeah, are they the ultimate judge in the day of judgment, or are they witnessing against them, condemning them for their sins?
They're
and
not
so
the
on?
ultimate judge. Yeah, that doesn't.
Right. So the point here is we have Christian interpretations and secular interpretations saying judging here means being a witness against. Okay, so that's the first thing. Here's another one.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. Here, so Matthew 12:42. The queen of the south will rise at the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for she came from the ends of the earth to listen to Solomon's wisdom, and now something greater than Solomon's here. They're mistranslating it here. So let's pull up the interlinear. So Matthew 12:42. 12:42. Interlinear.
The audience are talking about Shia. Yeah.
Here, so let's pull this up. The queen of the south will rise up in the judgment with this generation and will condemn it, right? So what's the word used for condemn? If you look here, the root of this is, if you look here, Strong's. One second. Kata krino, yeah? So just get rid of kata, because that means like two. It's krino, yeah? All right.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to judge against, to pass sentence upon, to condemn. Yeah. Is she literally judging, or is she going to be a witness against them?
She's gonna be a witness, yeah.
Okay. So now, all right, I'll show you this last thing, and then I'll show you a scholar saying the same thing that I'm saying. So,
Mm-hmm.
you see here, the
Yeah.
same word is used, just in a different conjugation. Krenontes.
Yeah. Krenontes.
So judging. This, so you
It's
got
the
that
same
for
root,
the
right?
yes, that's for the disciples, and you have also sorry, I gotta go to Matthew 25 for this. Let's get Matthew 25.
Yeah.
Verse 34. Actually, before we get to the Son of Man judging,
Yeah.
the Son of Man has the function of being a witness already as well, by the way. Let me show you. Let me show you that
Mhm.
first.
But I'm not aware of any of that. I'm really like low knowledge on the Son of Man.
That's all good. It's all good. So whoever for it be ashamed of me and my words in this generation, adulterous and sinful generation, also the Son of Man will be ashamed of him when he comes in the glory of his Father with the angels. So he's going to be ashamed of him when he comes. You see, so it's like being a witness against them. You see.
Yeah, he's ashamed. He is ashamed of their acts when he come. Yeah,
Exactly.
it can be like
so,
he's witnessing to that. Yeah.
Exactly. So he has that function of being a witness. Now, let's get the verse.
Wait, well, 1 second. I'm here, but I'll just like mute and do something.
Yeah, take your time. So we also have research we've done.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we have actually a whole server on the whole Son of Man thing. Any potential rebuttals, whatever like that. We have a server that we've worked on. And we've also made the case that Son of Man, the description of the Son of Man in the Gospels can be used to say that the Prophet ﷺ was spoken about by Jesus when the Quran says that Jesus spoke about Ahmad. We have an etymological link that we have as well. I don't know if you've seen that.
The Ahmed thing, yeah, I did hear the Ahmed thing on Isaiah 42, but Ruben
No, Isaiah
like
42. It's not Isaiah 40. It's with doxa.
but where's that?
Okay, let me show you.
Okay,
I'll show you that after this. Okay, so
Isaiah
I'm gonna show you
42.
Scott. So you got the idea from we're not just doing an ad hoc reading.
Yeah, it doesn't seem ad hoc, but
Yeah, we're using the Gospels to inform what judging means in this apocalyptic context. Now, here also we have a scholar. So this is Christopher Tuckett. He's speaking about how the Gospel Q uses judging. Yeah, so he says here,
Yeah.
second, we may note that the distinction made between the Son of Man as an advocate/witness and the Son of Man as a judge may be a little forced, since the two activities may have well been conceived as overlapping at times.
so in Q, the being a judge and a witness overlaps. Is that the idea, or like I'm kind of slow? Hello?
Sorry, Akhi, my mic is muted. Sorry, what did you say?
I said so. Based on that, the Son of Man being a witness and a judge can overlap in Q.
Yeah, basically it's interchangeable. They're using it in the same way.
Mm-hmm. But he
No.
does kind of he concedes that the Son of Man has a judge rule, which he isn't saying it's completely witnessing.
No, he's saying the two activities are overlapping at times. They're like the same thing. Being a judge or being a witness, they overlap. That's why you can say judge or you can say witness, and it's like you're saying the same thing. And that's what we
Mhm, I
saw in
get
the Gospels, right? I don't even need the scholar to say this, but he's just saying the same thing we've seen.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I get it. Okay.
Yeah, so look, I'll show you the stuff with Ahmed as well. Okay. So first of all, if I were to ask a Christian who is the most glorified human-like figure in the Gospels, who would they say?
They say Jesus.
Well, the Son of Man, right?
Yeah, the Son of Man. Yeah.
Yeah. So don't worry about who the Son of Man is, right? Just the Son of Man is the most glorified. Jesus describes him as being the most glorified. Okay. So the word that Jesus uses for glorified is doxe, okay? And they've already conceded that, yeah, he's the most glorified. Jesus describes him as being the most glorified. And obviously we know Ahmed, we have Islamic sources as well, people translating Ahmed as most glorified. Most glorified or most praised, yeah? Okay?
Yeah.
Now, it's not even just the meaning's the same. The etymology is actually the same. So do you know who Nikolai Sinai is?
Yeah, I know Nikolai Sinai.
Yeah. So Jesus uses the Greek word doxa to mean glory. So Jesus says the Son of Man's going to come with glory. He's going to be the most glorified figure, basically, meaning is what he's saying. He's going to sit on God's throne, etc., etc. So this description has an etymological link as well, because Nicholas Sinai says, amongst other people, that Alhamdulillah, like its approximate equivalent, Subhanallah is an Arabization of the Greek doxa to theo. So doxa is what? It's
Glory to God.
hamd.
Because Theo.
Yes, glory, and then it's what? Alhamdulillah. So doxa is the equivalent of hamd here. You see?
Yeah. Oh, I see.
And then what's the root of Ahmed? The root of Ahmed is hamd.
Hamd. Yeah.
Yeah. So we also have, besides this, here, we have, this is a peer-reviewed article as well.
Mm-hmm.
It says, furthermore, Edo-Kesin exhibits etymological affinity with the root doxa. So doxa, which finds its Arabic parallel in the root hamd, as Anton Baumstark notes, and blah, 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 yeah? Okay?
So doxa is like of glory.
Yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I get it.
Yeah. So there's a good case that
No, that's good. It's good.
Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is discussed by Jesus in meaning from the Gospels. He speaks about Ahmed, and the function of him being a witness against mankind is described by Jesus ﷺ. amongst other things. Also, in First Enoch, the Son of Man is, like I said before, the Son of Man is, he's the fulfillment of Isaiah 42 as well.
In
by the way.
First Enoch? No, I
Yeah.
actually don't know that. I thought First Enoch talks about the Son of Man paralleling with Daniel, but I didn't know about Isaiah.
Yeah, it's also Isaiah 42, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's pretty interesting. Can I see stuff on that, or like the sources are not present?
Yeah, that'd be $5.
No, oh, okay, I don't have
I'm
money.
joking. Let me pull up. Give me a sec.
No, no, it's fine.
So First Enoch.
By the way, they're talking about Shia. Can I like reference something, guys? If you go to the book of Wasa'il, it's one of the Hamdaniya book of the Shia. What the guy says, he's a big scholar of Shia. He's like known one of the Hamdani scholars. Like they're the heads of Hadith. He says, uprightness or adala in a narrator, like having this as a condition, this necessitates the weakness of all our hadiths due to the lack of knowledge regarding the uprightness of any of them except rarely. So like they concede that they don't know the uprightness of their own narrators. So yeah.
So here's the source for First Enoch. So this is from Michael Heiser, yeah? He's actually a Christian. And look what he says here. The righteous one, on First Enoch, I think it's chapter 48 here. The righteous one, as intimated in the summary statement above at the beginning of this chapter, scholars typically do not take this phrase as pointing to God himself, but to another figure. Scholars are divided on the edification of the figure in First Enoch. He will variously be called righteous one, anointed one, chosen one, and the Son of Man many times. Many take the position that the figure is the Messiah of Israel. Charles is of this view. In the commentary on First Enoch, blah, 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 the enigmatic figure of the eschatological leader possibly associated with Enoch is designated as similitudes by 4 titles: a Sadiq, righteous one; anointed one, Messiah; chosen one, Zuri; and Son of Man, Walid Sab. This latter view essentially has the writer viewing the Messiah as a returned Enoch, though it is difficult, if not impossible, to see how the idea works for the Messiah as a son of David and Davidic king. Okay, so scholars dispute: is it Enoch? Is it the Davidic Messiah? Is it they're differing? Yeah. Now let's go here. Not surprisingly, the righteous one and the elect one is the defender of the righteous against their enemies, the wicked. Next page. The titles will sound familiar to the biblical student as they derive from the servant songs of Isaiah. One of the instances, elect one, is in part a direct quotation from Isaiah 42. You see?
Oh, so he says this figure is linked to Isaiah 42.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I didn't. Okay, you know new things every day. So I guess I don't have a lot of things to talk about now, but yeah, I heard. This is in the same Isaiah point. When we argue that Isaiah 42 isn't righteous remnants of Israel, and we want to force the reading, they say we want to force the reading. It's the specific figure we want to talk about. They said then Isaiah 53 will basically point to Jesus because he's the lamb that suffers for the sins of the Israelites or something like that. So it's depicting Jesus or something like that. So how do we reply to that in short?
How do we reply to Isaiah 53?
Yeah.
Check Libyan's website. Search up theorthodoxmuslim.com. He's got an article on it, all right? I'm going to get some other guests on Akhi just to finish up before I have to leave for the hood, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Basically, we say it's the suffering servant. Right?
Mm-hmm. By the way, just your last view on that. I wanted that to be like a different topic, but I guess there's no time. Your view on these so-called scientific miracles is I know most of them are weak, but is embryology a good argument?
No, I just stay away from them.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Thank you then.
All right, take care. Salam. All right, Jorgen.
Assalamu alaikum. How you doing, brother?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I said your name right, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, it's not my real name, but you know.
All right.
Wallahi, brother, I
So-
only came here to thank you for the work you've been doing. You don't know how much impact you've got, man. I appreciate everything you're doing, and I hope the best you're doing, man. I know a lot of brothers who, in the last years, in the last decade, turned away from Islam, and because of you, the Orthodox Muslim, the Warner, Sonny Faz, Beck Lover, you know, the people who are on the stage nowadays, risking their lives, to be honest. Because of them, a lot of people have waken up. And because of you, a lot of people are waking up. Thank you so much, brother. May
Barakallah
Allah
feek. It's
bless
all
you.
by the will of Allah, akhi. All from Him.
Inshallah, brother. But, you know, since we're here, I've got, you know, a tiny bit of a question. Is Isaiah considered to be a prophet in Islam?
Yeah.
Oh,
So Ibn Taymiyyah and many other scholars say that he's a prophet. There's good reason to think so because the prophecies that come from his book are fulfilled through the Prophet ﷺ.
but the issue is we cannot know if it's actually his book or not. That's the issue.
No, we can. It's first Isaiah is likely from Isaiah. Yeah. Even non-Muslim non-Christian scholars, sorry, even non-Christian, non-Jewish scholars will say there's a kernel of truth from first Isaiah that comes from Isaiah.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
No problem, akhi. Salam.
Assalamu alaikum.
Oh.
Steve.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, akhi.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So I have a question about Isaiah 9:6. So you know how Ibn Taymiyyah applied it to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam?
Yep.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be shirk? Because the figure in Isaiah 9:6 is called Mighty God El Gibor.
Oh, your mic. Damn. Oh, one second.
Oh, sorry.
That hurt my ears.
Bro, it's fine. Anyways, wouldn't it be shirk?
One sec.
Okay.
Yeah. So, what's your question?
Or wouldn't it be shirk to apply Isaiah 9:6 to the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam? Because you know the figure in Isaiah 9:6 is called Mighty God El Gibor. Or
No. So in the Septuagint version of Isaiah 9:6, it doesn't say mighty God. So if you use that version, there's no need to reconcile it. Second thing is El Gibor, just like the other word Elohim, is used for other than God in the Old Testament as well.
yes.
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's talking about God.
Okay, but Moses is called Elohim in Exodus 7:1.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah, and you made a tweet about this, but then you deleted it.
Yeah. It's too much back and forth. I don't like back and forth on Twitter.
Okay, fair enough. It's a toxic platform anyway.
Yeah.
Anyways, I have another question. Who do you think fulfills Isaiah 53?
Israel.
Okay, the righteous remnant.
Yeah. Let me just drop your mic 1 second. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so you think the righteous remnant fulfills it?
Yeah.
Okay, and what's the proof for this?
Read Libyan's article, inshallah. Okay.
Okay, inshallah.
Alright.
And I have another question. Who is Isaiah 7:14 about?
It's talking about a baby at the time of Isaiah.
Okay, and isn't that baby born in the next chapter?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It has nothing to do with a virgin giving birth to a baby called Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Okay. And Do you think Psalms 22 is about the Muslims?
Psalm 22?
Yeah.
No.
I remember Brother Ibrahim from Proving Islam tried to argue for it, that you'd find the Muslims prostrating.
Nah, I'm not
stating in the
convinced.
Psalms.
I'm not convinced
You're
from
not
what I've seen.
convinced?
No, not from what
I
I've
see.
seen.
And it says they peer like a lion. They mauled my hands and my feet. Could this refer to the crucifixion?
No, I think you got your answer to all these questions before so many times.
Okay. Ma salama, akhi. Have a good day.
Walaikum salam. We've answered these questions, like, I swear, at least 6 times for minimum. Yeah, Elijah.
Wait, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to know during the time of the prophet, right? What could be considered the prophecy for the prophet from the Old Testament and the New Testament?
The usual ones we use. Paraclete, for example, the Matthew 21, Matthew 22, Daniel 2, Daniel 7,
But Daniel
Isaiah
2 and Daniel
42.
7 is gonna be after the Ottomans destroyed Rome, right?
No, so even the Tabi'een, when they saw that the Prophet ﷺ, sorry, not the Prophet, Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with them, when he conquered Jerusalem, they said, yes, this is a fulfillment of Daniel 2. You can even look at the coming of a kingdom that's spreading monotheism as a preemptive fulfillment of Daniel 2. So you can see a prophecy about to be fulfilled and say, yes, this is the prophecy being fulfilled in our very eyes. So just because the whole fulfillment hasn't been done yet doesn't mean that you can't look at it and say, yes, this is part of the fulfillment.
What about other than Daniel? So can I use Genesis 17 and Isaiah?
Yeah, Genesis 17, Daniel 2, Daniel 7, Isaiah 42, Matthew 22, Matthew 21, John 14, John 15, John 16. You got all these verses you can use. I think
What
that are
about Isaiah
convincing.
21, where the author of Isaiah connect Kedar with Arabia?
Yeah, I'm not too familiar with that one. Just the ones that I gave you are good.
Wait, so this last one, right? So I saw a guy saying that about Daniel 2, that prophecy was actually changed. First, that prophecy referred to someone other than those 4 kingdoms. Do you know about that? Or?
No, it's catching me by surprise. No, I'm trolling. I know what they say. So that's the secular view. We don't care about the secular view because we're speaking to Jews and Christians.
Wait, so what's the secular view?
That the interpretations changed, and that it was meant to be about someone else before. And the reason why they give that is they're never going to say that Daniel 2 is prophesying the Roman Empire. They don't believe prophecies exist. So why would they think that Daniel 2 has knowledge about the future, about Rome?
So what's the rebuttal to their claim? How can I push back on them?
Who's giving you that rebuttal?
I saw a Christian guy. You probably know him. He
A Christian guy?
Yeah, a Christian guy on TikTok. He's actually famous for making videos on Libiano, on AN, I believe, right? And Korah and stuff like that. But he's low tier. But that one argument,
Brother, it's the consensus of Jews and Christians that it's Rome. If he's gonna say otherwise, he's going against all of the tradition of the Jews and Christians before Islam.
Okay.
You would only have to really defend it if you're speaking against someone who's a secular or someone who doesn't believe in God and whatnot. However, we don't even use prophecies from the Bible against people like that. So it doesn't make any sense. There's no need to do it.
And one more thing, how can I prove that Daniel 7 when it says that a son of man is gonna be the saints of the Most High? How can I prove that that son of man is gonna be one figure which is gonna be served, and is the Prophet Muhammad. When the Daniel says that, interpret that to mean the saints of the Most High, not that it's a singular person.
Yeah, so you see how the beasts represent 4 kings, as it says in Daniel 7?
Yeah, beast. Are you talking about the little horn or the beast? when you
No,
say-
no. So I mean, let me just pull it up 1 second. I'll pull it up for you.
I think a beast had like multiple horns on his head, and then a little one came to the surface of the beast and then conquered 4 kings or something.
Yeah. Let me show you. So Daniel 7 has an idea where the beasts represent the kings and they represent the nations.
The beast, but there's no beast associated with the 5th kingdom.
That's the point. The point is, instead of a beast, it's a human being who's holy.
Oh,
That's the dream. So you have, so he gave the interpretation. Yeah. So the angel's interpretation is the 4 great beasts are 4 kings, but aren't those 4 beasts also the nations? Roman
yeah, they are.
Empire. Yeah. So the point is that if the 4 beasts represent 4 kings, and the 4 beasts represent the 4 nations, then the Son of Man represents the nation of the Most High, and it represents the Prophet, who's a singular person.
Okay, sounds good. Wait, you said that John 16, 14, and 15 is also about the Prophet? I've never heard that.
Paraclete, yeah.
Okay, I'll look into that. And what about, so Deuteronomy 18, it says that from your brethren, among your brethren, right? But Acts 3 says that from your
I
brethren.
don't use Deuteronomy 18.
You don't use Deuteronomy 18? Why?
Nope. I just don't use it. But there's enough prophecies that I use that I know in depth. I don't need Deuteronomy 18.
Okay. That's it, man. All right. Assalamu
Take
alaikum.
care. Salam. All right, Mano.
Yo, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. What's going on, akhi?
Yeah, I had a few questions. I'm sorry, bro. I know, like, you probably don't want too many Muslims coming up. Like, I see you always getting Muslims instead of Christians, you know?
No, it's all good. It's all good. It's fine.
Well, one of the questions was that when we say Torah, what are we referring to exactly? Because isn't there like 3 separate things it can refer to?
Yeah, so it's either referring to what was given to Musa alayhi salam or the general Jewish traditions that are true, that they possess.
Okay, now, when Christians say the Quran confirms the Torah, I mean, at least I've heard someone say that. Is that referring to what was given to Musa?
Yeah, so we have to ask the Christian what he means. So some people might say it's the Pentateuch, so it's what was given to Moses from the Pentateuch. Some might say no, it's talking about other things, like the general Old Testament. Yeah, it depends what the Christian means.
Okay, regarding, like, let's say the King James Bible, right? The ones Christians read, the New Testament.
Yeah.
How much of it do we consider historically accurate and reliable? How much
73.4%.
You got the exact number.
No, I'm trolling you. We don't have a percentage.
Is there like a roughly like 40%ish, half, quarter?
No. You just can't tell. But I would say, look, the New Testament, from what the gospel is, it's going to be the words of Isa alayhi salam that he's preaching. Okay. Now, we don't know how much is historical. However, what we can say is that generally speaking, from the sayings of Jesus, you do have Islamic themes and you have Islamic ideas. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to judge by it. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says the Prophet's in there. And that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, there's stuff in there that's true. And he's confirming it, the Torah and the Gospel. It's because they have enough true stuff in there that will guide you towards Islam. How much is there that's actually authentic? Allahu A'lam. That's only something that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows. He didn't reveal it.
And even like Christian scholars agree on this, that they're not certain.
Yeah, they'll give you a vast. Some will say 20%, some will say 30, some will say 40. I don't know if anyone that.
20% is crazy.
I don't know. I don't know how much. If you're talking about only the sayings of Jesus, the thing is, bro, when you talk about what's historical, right? It gets a bit technical as well, to be honest, because what happens is you're going to have different ideas of what's historical. Are you talking about just the meaning being retained? Or are you talking about verbatim what Jesus said? Are you
I
talking
mean,
about the yeah? Go
Hey,
ahead.
go ahead, guys. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Are you talking about the whole context being retained, or there's some distortions in there? So if you mean by like the meanings retained, yeah, I would say generally speaking from the Gospels, you got the meaning retained in there. Jesus spoke about monotheism. He spoke about the prophet coming, alayhi salatu wasalam. He spoke about keeping the law. He spoke about the interpretation of the law. He spoke about, stuff like being good to your neighbor, confirming aspects of the Torah. So we have all these things that align with Islam, but then what you also have is some stuff that does contradict. That's why I have a book that's coming, inshallah, where I work through the Gospels and I grade the level of compatibility the sayings of Isa alayhi salam has compared to Islam, right? So from the Gospels, how much contradicts with Islam, and from the ones that contradict with Islam, I give a historical case why they're ahistorical. Yeah. So yeah, going back to your question. So the question you're asking. Regarding the whole the Gospels, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is described in there, and therefore Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala confirms it, and the description is sufficient for you to become Muslim. However, we can't say exactly how much is fully preserved, and the criteria of preservation, like I said before, will differ. I'll give you one example just to settle in on this. The criteria of preservation, like I told you at the beginning, was okay. You mean in meaning or not in meaning, or do you mean like the gist is there, or there is some distortions in there? So one example I can give you is we do have, for example, Jesus alayhi salam says that let's say the washing of the hands, yeah. So Jesus alayhi salam says it's not what comes in you that defiles you; it's what comes out of you. Yeah, and then
Wait, can you
in
say that
Mark,
again?
yeah,
I
he
didn't
says
hear.
it's not. He says it's not what comes in you that defiles you; it's what comes out of you. Okay. Yeah. So the point is that in Mark, Jesus alayhi salam says that, but then Mark adds his own note, and he says when Jesus said this, he made all foods clean. Okay. In Matthew, he doesn't have that, and in Matthew, he has a whole different perspective he's adding in there where he says, no, Jesus is speaking specifically to the Pharisees. He's speaking specifically to the Jews. They're misinterpreting the law, basically, and they're adding traditions to the law. So the point is that what we have is traditions where there's some alignment, the gist could still be there, but some distortions as well, whether it be the author's notes or the context shifts or whatever it might be. Yeah, so you really got to be careful with when you say, "Oh, something's preserved." Like, what do you mean by that?
Lad, how come the Christians trust it if they're not even sure about its reliability? Do they have like other
Yeah,
reasons?
they'll cope over the reliability stuff that I just mentioned. Now they'll say no, they're all just saying the same thing, and they'll cope on it. So they won't concede what I'm saying, but it's obviously there.
Okay, Tom, lad, I have one more. Like, this is not like an educational question. I'm just curious what you think about it. If one like big Christian apologist were to accept Islam, who do you think would be most likely?
Most likely. Christian apologist. To be honest, I don't see any of them, bro. The grift's too strong, man. So I don't know. Like I can't think of any.
I feel like it would be God logic, man. Like he tries to act very confident, but I feel like deep down in his heart, he's getting so many doubts because he keeps getting cooked and cooked and cooked, and his arguments are so weak. Like I feel like he's starting to realize that he's losing, you know. But Allahu a'lam.
Yeah, may Allah guide them,
Um,
guide them or destroy them.
Okay, akhi, I don't want to take up too much of your time. Okay, thank you so much, akhi.
No problem.
Barakallahu
akhi. Yalla, take care. Salam.
feek.
Jordan.
Assalamu alaikum. Hear me?
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm Muslim, so I just wanted to ask you a couple questions. You know.
Yeah.
I want to get into debating so I can protect my deen, but like I want to ask you
yeah?
your advice. How'd you learn like all the knowledge you got right now? Where'd you learn it from?
How old are you?
18.
What year were you born?
2006, 7.
Why'd you change it?
I didn't change it. Chill. I'm just
The bro just changed his birth certificate. Yeah. Akhi, finish high school and then we'll speak, inshallah, okay? I called him with that question. What year were you born?
Assalamu alaikum,
Yeah.
akhi.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, I have one question. Why do the scholars think that the virgin birth is fabricated? It's a later tradition.
It's a weak argument from silence. They just say because Paul or Mark doesn't mention it, therefore it's not. Yeah.
It's an argument from silence. What about? I think that's it. Thank you, akhi.
Yeah.
Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa yak. Wa alaikum salam. All right, Doc.
Hey, what's up, Dean?
So, man, you got any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I know last time we talked, you wanted to run through your Christian dilemma. So I don't know if you want to start there. That wasn't it wasn't really like my question, but I know you like to start there.
No, that's fine, bro. You can bring your questions.
Okay. So in Islam, considering the Old Testament has various like manifestations of God physically on earth, and then you go into the Quran and the Hadiths, those instances aren't possible. Would I be wrong for saying that?
That God shows himself?
Yeah, like face to face.
Yeah, it's not possible. It's not possible in this life.
Okay, so would there be like a standard of where you could see like a clear cut example of like what books in the Old Testament? For example, if you go to Hosea chapter 12, I'll pull it up. Yeah, so Hosea chapter 12, starting in, I guess, verse 2. So I'm sure I don't really have to go over context of Hosea with you. I don't know if you want to go over it with your audience. But,
no, that's fine. Just make your point.
Okay, so he's talking about the encounter where Jacob wrestles with God, and starting at verse 2.
It's an angel, yeah.
Well, it says it's an angel, but then in verse 4 to 5, he says he found him at Bethel and talked to him there. The Lord God Almighty, the Lord is his name. And the reason why that's important is because if you actually go to the text in Genesis, I believe it's Genesis 32, Jacob asked him, "What's your name?" And he says, "Please tell me your name." And he says, "Why do you ask me my name?" And then he blessed him there. So he kind of leaves without stating his name. So this is God clarifying that this was him, like in a very explicit way. And then Bethel would be I can't remember like the exact Hebrew word, but basically seeing God face to face, which is what he names the site that this happened. So to me, this would be like a very clear example of Jacob encountering God in the flesh, considering that the man that he wrestled is like a physical being.
Okay. So there's a couple issues here. First issue is that in the Old Testament, there's autonomous language being used where God is said to be seen or God is said to be doing things, but it's an agent that's actually doing it. Even if it's in very, you might think it's clear language that's talking about God, that can't be the case. Now, there's a theological reason and there's also a textual reason. So first of all, in the textual reason, we have in First Kings already, Solomon says that, God, you can't be contained in this temple. You can't be contained. The heavens and earth can't contain you. So if this is God literally on earth, then that contradicts the textual passage. So there's a textual reason. The second reason why is a more theological reason. So when Jesus was on earth, was he contained in a place? If you think that it's God being seen there, was he contained in a place at that moment in time?
Yes, in his physical form, yeah. Like in I would consider his human nature.
Jesus did not have a human nature prior to being incarnated.
No,
That's not right.
Yeah, well, prior to being incarnated, Jesus didn't have a human nature.
And obviously, I'm talking about prior. I'm talking about in the context of what we're speaking
Okay.
about, the angel of the Lord.
Oh, okay. So yeah, I would not say he had a human nature. No.
Okay, so when Jacob saw Jesus and wrestled with Jesus, is that literally God on earth?
Well,
Jesus?
If you go to the Hebrew where he says it was him, the Hebrew is actually, translated is verbatim. That is Yahweh, God of hosts, Yahweh, his memorable name. So
Yeah, but brother, we're not talking about the textual evidence right now. We can get to the textual evidence in a second. We're talking about the theological case here. So, do you believe that Jesus, in his divine nature, was seen on earth?
In the Old Testament, yes, I would say that Jesus is seen in multiple places as the angel of the Lord, like guiding the Israelites out
So
of
the
Egypt.
divine nature was contained on earth.
Well, I wouldn't say it was contained.
Okay, so what was being touched?
Well, in this instance, it would be Jacob.
No. What was Jacob touching?
Oh yeah, he's touching what he believes to be a man. The text.
No, not about belief. We're talking here in a theological.
Oh, he's touching God.
Theological belief. He's touching God, right? But what is God? God is the divine nature. So he's touching the divine nature. So the divine nature is on earth.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
The divine nature is on earth. Okay, so when is my brother? The divine nature can be contained on earth.
Well, under your pretense, when you say contained, like the earth would be like obliterated by seeing the angel of the Lord. Like clearly there's a distinction between the angel of the Lord, who in the Old Testament shares a lot of the qualities of the Father, and then the Father himself.
I'm asking you, what is that being made out of? You're saying that being is God.
Well, the being in the Old Testament, that being would be a pillar of fire. He appears as a
I'm not talking about that right now. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord in this instance is Jesus, God apparently. And in this instance, if you're really thinking it's God, literally, I'm saying it's an angel, so it reconciles for me. I can say it's an angel, it's his representative, and in that way, Jacob saw God in this sense, and he interacted with God in this sense through agency. But your interpretation causes theological issues because you're saying that God literally was on earth, the divine nature is being touched. Can the divine nature be touched?
No, not the essence of the Father. No.
But why are you making a distinction? Jesus has the same essence.
Well, yeah, they have the same essence, but
So don't worry about the Father. We're talking here Jesus. Jesus, in his divine nature, was touched on earth by a human being. So can a human being touch the divine nature?
Well, I guess in Genesis, reading it, I'm just tying the two texts together here. I'm trying to learn myself.
And I'm tying them together too. But I said two things. Textual, God can't be contained in a place. That's one.
Right.
Theological, God can't be touched in his divinity. Jesus doesn't have a human nature here. Therefore, it's more likely it was a subordinate being, like an angel, that was representing God.
Okay, so from your, this would be almost like a sense of what we would consider like a Gabriel-ish figure, and then the touching, and then it is coming from me is basically saying the message is from me.
Yes. So the same way I can say George Bush conquered Iraq, or he invaded Iraq, you can say that while also George Bush not being literally in there conquering it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I wasn't I didn't really think through it on a theological sense, man. I was just kind of going textual, but that opens the door to a lot more interpretations that I wasn't thinking of. I appreciate it.
That's all good, man. But look, even let's deal with it textual. I'll
Okay.
give you a theological thing, but we can deal with textually as well. So, was Jesus contained on earth when he was being touched by Jacob?
Yeah, if we take that as
He was,
well,
brother.
I'm
brother,
saying it,
I just gave you a passage from
Well-
First Kings where Solomon says you can't be contained on the heaven or earth.
oh well, I'm asked. Well, I guess when I was answering, I was saying like when he is physically there wrestling in the text, from my interpretation, would he be contained on the earth there? Like in that instance, he would be.
Yeah, would he? He would, right?
Yeah, based on the text.
Yeah, but based on the text in First Kings, God can't be contained, man. Like, what? So your interpretation doesn't work. It doesn't work in both senses, textually or theologically. It just doesn't work.
Okay. So, and I guess I probably should have led with this. I'm still working through the Trinity. Like I don't know. We talked a while ago. Like I was a Christian who said I can't really find the Trinity being like expressly shown in the text. So I was kind of like working through it myself. So I'm not at 100%. Like I don't think I'm supposed to understand the Trinity because it's not like expressed through Christ himself. So I'm just kind of accepting right now Christ is like a divine figure, son of God, and I don't really need to understand beyond that.
So you
I
don't
guess-
believe he is God Almighty?
Well, I don't see that except even in Revelation, I see he is stating that he is the Alpha and Omega, but he's still not saying like I am the Father, because even in Revelation, he is subservient to the Father, which I guess makes sense in Trinitarian, but it doesn't make them equal. So I'm still working through that myself. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on, this text. In Isaiah.
So you can mean passage. Yeah, so we can talk about what Jesus says in the Gospels. No issue.
No. I'm still working my way through the whole angel of the Lord thing. I think that is more of like I think a dishonest way to go about it would be like jumping into John and then going back to the Old Testament to try to like prove John correct. I'm trying to work it the other way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, there's nothing really in the Old Testament that works in Trinitarian's favor.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you pointing this out for me.
No problem, man. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss or ask?
Nah, I think anything that I would want to discuss about like Islam or anything, it would just be coming out of ignorance, and I'm not trying to be like an ignorant person.
It's all good, man. So maybe next time I go live, we can speak again. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working my way through the Quran, man. It's just I'm going through the Bible and the Quran at the same time, so I'm like flip flopping between the two. It's
that's fair. No issue. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide you, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala aid you in your efforts in searching for the truth. Just pray to the one God, man, and ask him to guide you. Stay with the sincere wavelength, and try to always check biases and whatnot, and try to see if there's double standards you're working with. And inshallah, just all Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks from you is sincerity and action, right? So you try to search for the truth, and you also don't blind yourself from what the truth may be, even if you don't like it.
Yeah, I'm trying to avoid taking other people's like presuppositions into like my studying or reading. I feel like it throws you off. Like listening to like a debate and then trying to go and read, you take all that stuff with you, and then it kind of makes you dishonest with what you're reading.
Yep. No, definitely.
But yeah,
But yeah,
man, I'll
man,
definitely
no,
hop back. You stay safe out there, man. It's crazy.
yeah, you too, man. Take care.
You too.
See ya. Bye bye. All right. All right, E. I think you're a Muslim here, so I'm just gonna skip because we got life here. Let's get him on before I have to leave for Doha, inshallah. All right, life. Life.
Yo, what up? What's up, Dean?
What's up, man? What's going on?
Nothing, chilling. I put in a private chat. Did you want to talk about conscious edits? I DM'd you on TikTok to set up like a full like stream just for me and you to go back and forth about it, but then you got banned.
Oh, you want to do it with me? I thought you were gonna give me someone to debate.
No, I wanted to do it with you. We could do it formally or we can do it informal. Yeah, because I mean you're the guy. I mean you're the go-to guy for the conscious edits. So I wanted to have a conversation with you. We can do it here now or however you want to do it. But
Yeah,
the
man.
reason is you got banned, so you didn't see the message. That's why I'm here talking to you, telling you about it.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah. I don't know why TikTok just banned a bunch of people giving dawah on there. So
They just took your whole channel, your whole.
yeah, just my whole TikTok in one strike, and when I
Let
appealed
me
it,
ask
they
you a
wouldn't.
question. Were
Yeah,
you
go on.
talking about Israel Palestine?
No, really, I wasn't. And a lot of people that wasn't really speaking about it too much either got banned as well.
That's
So it's weird. It's
yeah,
weird.
that's weird.
But anyways, yeah. So look, we can talk about conscious edits and look. Look, we can talk about conscious edits as long as we can also speak about like the topic of the live as well. Is that okay?
Yeah. How much time do you have?
Should be about 30 minutes. So we can do 15 minutes each.
You are you sure the conscious edit is gonna be the conscious edit ain't gonna be 15 minutes, bro? You know me and you not gonna be done with that in 15 minutes.
Yeah, let me just let me call your good friend Leafy. Let me see if he can join. Maybe he can stay here while I go pray. Just give me a sec.
He said, "My good friend Leafy." Hey man, if Leafy stopped trolling with the LGBT stuff, man, we definitely can get back into it. You know, I like bro, but you know, he kind of went too far with that.
All right, how about we just do this? It doesn't seem like he's answering. So we'll just we'll speak about we'll speak for however long you need. I'm gonna have to leave in 15 minutes to go pray, and we'll take a break in between. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah, that's fine.
All right. So I'll just let you know when I need to go. And
or how about this? What about this? Because I did, like I said, I am just literally contacting you because like I said, you're the go-to guy for conscious edits. I really just want to have a build with you on that, but we can set up a live where it's just me and you, and we can do both topics in full. If you want to do that as well too, because it'd be like mashing.
it's too much. Yeah. So
I mean,
this I think let's just do it now so we can get it done with, so we don't have to, your time zone, my time zone, or whatnot. Yeah.
Right.
Maybe like also days as well. They might, you might be busy, I might be busy, so we could just do it now.
Okay.
So we'll just speak about conscious edits. We'll give it 30 minutes, and I don't mind giving my topic just only 15 after. Okay, so we'll just do 30 minutes conscious edits. We'll do 15 minutes now. I go pray. 15 minutes after. Give 15 minutes on the topic I want to bring with the Christian dilemma, and then we can end it there. Okay, so let me just put a timer here for me to leave. Here we go. So
all right. Are you you're let me all right, well, if we're gonna do 30 minutes conscious edit, let me I don't have anything recording. Do you mind if I like turn my OBS on really quick?
yeah, that's fine. Take your time.
All right, give me a second. I gotta put some headphones on. All right, almost ready.
All right, guys, in the chat, let's keep it respectful. So we're just gonna have a respectful conversation here. So obviously, we can have very calm, peaceful dialogues. It doesn't always have to be screaming at each other's heads. What happened yesterday, we don't want. We don't want people screaming at each other's heads, coming out aggressive, or people getting violent. So, inshallah, dialogues like these are more fruitful for the audience and more fruitful for the interlocutors as well. So, I just want everyone to be respectful in the chat as well. If anyone is blaspheming or getting disrespectful, you're going to be timed out, okay?
Let me say, yo, yo. Yo, yo, yo. Okay. All right, yeah, my audio's good. I also turn my camera on too.
Sounds good. All right, so let's give it 15 minutes here. My clock. Here we go.
Oh, I got my closet open. Hold on, man. Okay, looks like I'm good to go.
All right, bet. So you can start with your dispute with conscious edits as soon as I say one. So 3, 2, 1.
Okay, yeah. So my issue with the operation of the conscious edits is that it seems as if it's a justification for Muhammad being wrong, which is, in your mind, you think that there's no possibility for him to be wrong. So therefore, you're giving me an example of how he's not wrong, which is he's correcting something. So the passage that I gave you last time was Zechariah. Okay, so we can start with that one, and then we can also move to other passages as well too, and other instances where he mentions a bunch of other things that are inside and outside of the Bible. Now, in the Quran, it says Zechariah could not speak for 3 days and 3 nights, or 3 nights, depending on which translation you read. But as you can tell in Luke 1, it's for the entire term of the pregnancy. Zechariah could not speak. Okay, after he came out of the temple and he found out Elizabeth was pregnant. And then from there, he had to wait until she gave birth. And then even after that, he had to name the baby John before he could speak. That's the story in the Bible. Muhammad retells this story, and it says 3 nights. So the way that you reconcile it is, he consciously edited the story. How do you come to that conclusion?
Sure. So there's layers to that story where you could say it's a conscious edit, but then there's other layers where it's not so clear. So that's not the clearest example I would bring of there being a conscious edit, because there's not enough maybe proof to show that this is conscious. Now, for example, the 9 months and 3 days thing, yeah, I could give a reason to show holistically why that's a conscious edit in part with other things, but I think that the clearest example of a conscious edit in this instance is the whole punishment of Zechariah and him being silenced. So the first thing I would say is that we have in the Quran instances where there's differences with the Bible, just to make it clear. There's differences between the Quran and the Bible where you can't say necessarily it's a conscious edit because there's not enough evidence there to show that the author is motivated by doing a conscious edit. There could just be a difference. And for those ones, it has to be that I have reasons to believe Islam is true, therefore I take this version over the Bible. Okay? So that's going to be in those instances. Now, there's other instances that show he's not doing an absolute confirmation, which is going to be the conscious edits. One example, which I'll work with what you brought, even though that's not the best example, I would say, but I'll still work with it. The one example is him being punished in this example and him being silenced in this way. The Quran doesn't depict this as a type of punishment. Rather, Zechariah is depicted as an obedient servant in chapter 3 of the Quran and in Surah Maryam. In the context of Surah Maryam, where he prays to God for a child, is when he looks in Surah Al Imran, it's around the verse 100. He sees Mary being given all these foods and so on, and he says, wow, like, I want in on this. I want these miracles are great. God gave it to you. Okay, let me pray to God. Now that I've seen he gave you this miraculous food and so on, let me pray to him because I know he is the granter of prayers. So that's the context in Surah Al-Imran. It gives us to Surah Maryam. So it doesn't make any sense in the worldview of the Quran that the punishment, the silencing of Zechariah was in the context of a punishment when the whole context is about him being an obedient servant. The author of the Quran knows his silencing. The author of the Quran knows other contexts in Luke 1 and Luke 2 that I can show. And he edits the part, or you could say omits, the part where it's in the context of it being a punishment. So that'll be the edit there.
Now, when you say he knows, who is the he? Is the he Muhammad or Allah?
It's the author of the Quran, whoever you want to say it is.
Well, but that's the problem that I have with the conscious edit, because if the author could be who I say it is, then that means that the conversation isn't grounded in anything. Because when you say the author of the Quran, we have to know who that is, because if it's Muhammad and it's a human being, then therefore I could have a conversation with you about him hearing.
Yeah, so it's definitely not Allah in this context we're discussing. I'm granting you from the external perspective, not internal, that you're assessing a human being is the author of the Quran. That's what I'm telling you, whoever you want it to be. Because you're not going to say it's Allah, are you? So whoever you want it to be, Prophet Muhammad, a group of people, whatever, I'm talking about them, whoever you want it to be.
Right, because you're pushing back on my narrative of him getting something wrong. And you're saying that can't be possible because he's correcting it, which means that he has knowledge of what he's correcting. Okay, so the author of the Quran is Muhammad. Is it possible for Muhammad to hear a wrong story and retell it?
That's possible. However, it's not likely given the fact that we can show that the author of the Quran has detailed knowledge of these scriptures.
Okay. So the example that I gave is him having, let's say, knowledge of something that was out there, but you have no indication that it's actually coming out of the scriptures. For example, the story of Zechariah, you have no indication anywhere in the Quran that this story is found in Luke 1. It's just him retelling that story. So how do you know that this shows that he has knowledge of what's in those scriptures just because he repeated something? Because I could say the same for the parable of the mustard seed, which is also found in Thomas and not in the canonical. So how are we justifying this knowledge?
So the issue with that Thomas thing is not a good point, because we have no reason to think that the Gospel of Thomas is circulating rather than the Gospels. That's the first thing, the fourfold Gospel.
Well, it's not about scripture circulating; it's about stories.
Yeah, the scripture, stories, whatever. There's no evidence that the Gospel of Thomas is circulating, so we prefer what there is evidence circulating.
Not the Gospel of Thomas, the story itself, the parable, what Jesus said is circulating for orally. Because Muhammad, Muhammad was given an Arabic text, if Muhammad was given a Hebrew text, a Greek text, he wouldn't have been able to read it. Your guys' narrative is he couldn't read nor write. Sure. So no matter what was around him, if he couldn't read it nor write it, he had to hear everything that he said. So if my position is that he heard the wrong story and retold it, or heard something and retold it wrong and inaccurate, then that still stands, because you just said that he's able to do that, but it's less than likely, right? That's what you're arguing, that's less than likely.
Yeah, it's not likely, given the fact that he knows too much for him to make a mistake like that. So we can go through.
What's your indication that he knows too much? That's what I want to. Where do you get that he knows too much?
Okay, so one example I'll give you from Surah Maryam. Just I'll still work within your example,
Mhm.
but I want to get to one of my examples as well after. So your example, we do have indications that he knows stuff. So for example, if we go here to,
Well, I'm
there's
not arguing that he doesn't know anything. You said this can't be true because he knows too much. That's
Yeah.
why I was saying, what do you mean by too much? Because obviously he spoke on this stuff, so he heard it from some. That's from my position. He heard it from somewhere. So yeah, he knows about these things, but he doesn't know if he's accurately representing them out of the scriptures. That's what I'm saying.
Sure. So the case I'm telling you is this is too much for someone to just be illiterate, not knowledgeable of the, let's say the Hebrew or the Greek or whatever it might be. Okay.
Mhm.
So I'll give you one example from Surah Maryam. So there's a verse in Surah Maryam. Let me just pull it up. Here we go. So in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions in verse 13, here it is, yeah. So verse 13, it says, وَحَنَانًا مِن لَدُنَّا, right? So it says here in the Arabic, وَحَنَانًا. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala calls John Yahya, right?
Mhm.
But he also knows his name Yuhannan. What's the evidence? The evidence is this term Hananan, right? Which means as well as purity and compassion from us, and he was God-fearing. This term Hananan is used only once in the entire Quran, and it's used in the context of John the Baptist. Hananan has the same root meaning in the Semitic root to the Hebrew word for Yuhannan, which is John's actual name in the Gospels. So this shows if he knows John's name to the point where he can make word plays in the Arabic with it and know the meaning of it, how is he then getting simple stuff wrong? Like he doesn't know how many days it is in the text.
Yeah, well, you have to identify that he knows that this is coming from the text. Because if you're dealing with my position and you're trying to refute my position is that he isn't talking to God. My position is that he's hearing the wrong story. But your position to refute my position is that he's consciously editing something out of Luke. Yeah. So you're saying, where did he get 3 days and 3 nights, or the 3 nights, 3 days, whatever? You saying, where did he get that from? That's the point. The point is, we don't know, because the story was already told the story was already existing. And it wasn't that he couldn't speak for 3 days and 3 nights. That's the point. Where did he get this from?
And my point is he's not getting the 3 days from anywhere. Okay, so my point of showing you this is that he knows too much for him to just be haphazardly taking stuff orally. Okay, that's my point of me showing you stuff like this. He knows the Hebrew. He knows what it means. He knows also the context of the story in Luke, like I'm going to show. Right, so I could give you a reason why 3 days is used, and
but if he heard the story, if he heard the story, where's
the evidence he heard the story of it being 3 days? You don't have it. You don't have
because if my position is that Muhammad never spoke to God about this story, then where else would he get it from? He wouldn't just is he just randomly speaking about things? And here's the thing: even in your Quran, they literally talk down on him
the ear,
for repeating stories of old. And so we know that he heard things. He was around people. Even in your hadith system, you have people coming around representing scriptures, translating it, and etc. So it's not as if Muhammad wasn't able to hear something from anybody. And what I'm saying is that there's overwhelming evidence that Muhammad did hear a lot of these stories and just mashed it all in. This is the reason why you have a mashing of the different things that the Jews said. You have a bunch of stuff that the Christians said. You have a bunch of fables that made it into there. You have a bunch of stories like the Testament of Solomon that's outside of the Quran, outside of biblical scripture, that even made it into your Quran as well too.
Yeah, and that doesn't matter. Yeah. So the point here is, before we get into actually whether these things that the Quran's confirming is actually historically true, that's independent to what we're talking about. What we're talking about here is actually, did the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ mix up stories, and he doesn't have intimate knowledge of these things? We're disputing that before we get whether something's historical or not. Now, you made the point that he's hearing.
The evidence that he mixed up stories is if
let me finish, brother. I just let you speak. Just give me a second.
Just 2 seconds. 2 seconds, please, bro.
Yeah, you got 5 seconds. Go on.
Okay, the evidence that he mixed up and retold stories wrong is your Quran itself, because we can go read the story that existed before him, hundreds of years before he was born. These stories were out there, documented,
Okay.
and he
All right.
retold them. That's the
All right,
evidence.
bet.
And
Now,
he
now
retold
the
them wrong.
evidence. Yeah, I got you. So the evidence that it's wrong is independent from, is he doing intentional edits to these stories? So the intentional edit to this story, we're gonna deal with first. Then I'll show you that he's getting it more historically true afterwards. I'll show you in specific here with Surah Maryam. He's getting it more historically true.
But you
I'll
have
show
to
you.
give me a
I'll show you
verse.
why. Now
You have to give me
yeah.
a verse that the retelling of a story inaccurate to what it was originally
Yeah.
is a correction. You can't just
Yeah,
read a
yes,
verse.
yes,
and show me
exactly, and
something
that's what I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you that now with
Okay.
in the context of the 3 days. I'm going to show you how it's an intentional edit. All right, just give me a sec here. Let me get the source up as well. All right, so yeah, okay, so here we go. Yeah, so the 3 days here.
Mhm.
If we just read, let's find it. John, before, my Lord, how can I have a son? My wife is barren. And the angel replied, so will it be. And then Zechariah said, my Lord, grant me a sign. Your sign is that you'll not be able to speak to the people for 3 nights despite being healthy. Okay, so in Luke, he wasn't able to speak for 9 months. The Quran says you won't be able to speak for 3 days. The 9 months is a punishment until he writes down John's name. So the Quran changes John's name from Yohanan to Yahya because the name is associated with something having to do with Zechariah's punishment that the Quran isn't affirming. This shows he's not mixing up stuff. He's actually, there's something intentional going on here. Instead of it being Yohanan, it is Yahya. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala still shows, he still describes him with his name that's ascribed, right? Furthermore, with the whole 3 days thing, here it says 3 nights. The Gospel of Luke says 9 months. Why 3 nights? Because it's not a punishment where he's going to stop speaking after 9 months when the baby is born. Rather, it's linked to what? Him impregnating his wife. Him impregnating his wife, the sign that she is no longer barren and she's able to bear a child is after the 3 nights when she becomes impregnated with Yahya. Okay? So the story shifts. However, it shifts in a fashion that is consistent, where we have John being elevated, his father being elevated in this instance, and there's even an equalization between John and Jesus. In the Gospel of Luke, in Luke, I believe 1 or 2, it mentions how the people of Israel, the kingdom of Israel, will be handed over to Jesus, and he will rule over them. In the Quran, there's an equalization also with John the Baptist, because what do we find here? So we have, 1 second. Yeah, sorry, someone just came in. Yeah. So my point here was that in the Gospel of Luke, give me a second, I'll pull it up. And I'm concerned about the faith of my relatives after me, since my wife is barren, who inherit prophethood from me and the family of Jacob. So the Quran is trying to do an equalization where there's John the Baptist's status is being elevated, and there's no disregard of John the Baptist. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this up from the Gospel of Luke so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Respond,
So
okay?
yeah. So everything that you've shown me so far is, as I said, you're showing me a difference. You're not showing me that it's correcting anything. Anyone can retell something and tell a different story. There are plenty of narratives out there that try to tell a story of Jesus and what he did, but it's outside of the alignment with the biblical narrative. So if it's a cope to say, oh well, no, this person isn't wrong, he's correcting it. And this is the reason why I'm bringing this to you. And what you just showed me in the Quran was literally him just simply saying something different. I don't
No.
have an issue.
You're not understanding that. You're not understanding. Okay. So what was the
there-
reason?
there is-
What
there is
was the
no
reason I
indi-
gave? I want to see if you're understanding my point.
No, I understand your point.
Because
but I'm
I
saying
don't
if
want to
there-
talk
there's
past
no
each other. one second. I don't want to talk past each other. So
I don't
what
think
was the
Dean,
reason I gave where
Dean.
the 9 months turned into 3 days? What was the reason? Can you just tell me?
Dean, because you're saying that it wasn't a punishment. I heard you.
Exactly.
The problem is that that's still a difference in the story. Was it a punishment in Luke?
Yeah, and Luke was punishment. Of
Okay,
course.
was it not a punishment? Well, okay, was it a non-punishment, just a sign in the Quran?
Yes, and that's the elevation of Zechariah. Yes.
You call it elevation. I call it him telling the story wrong. So address how it's a correction, because you're admitting that he told the story different.
Okay. Do you know why it's intentional? Do you know why it's intentional and not him telling the story wrong?
I don't want you to tell me it's intentional.
Okay. Do you believe it's intentional or not?
I want you to use your Quran to prove to me that it's intentional.
Okay.
Not
okay.
just
But do you believe it's intentional? Do you believe it's intentional?
I believe that he heard a false story and repeated something wrong. So yes,
Where's the full story? Show me the full story.
I don't
please.
believe that
Go ahead.
Hold on, Dean. I don't believe that he intentionally changed Luke 1, because if I were to give him Luke 1, he wouldn't even be able to read it. So if he could not read nor write, and he's not talking to God, who is he talking to, and where did he get these stories from?
That's the point. Your hypothesis would have to change. Your hypothesis would have to change from. It's not. This is a false dichotomy. It doesn't have to be. It's the prophet. He's illiterate. He doesn't know what he's talking about, and it's coming from God. It's a false dichotomy. It could also be. Let me finish. Just let me finish. It could also be maybe it's not just.
Conclusion,
just let me finish. It could also be a third conclusion. Maybe you're wrong. Maybe the author is more than just someone who's just hearing stories. Maybe there was someone behind it that wasn't the prophet, that actually knew more than someone who's illiterate, right?
Okay, well, if you want to hang Muhammad repeating stories false over and over and over again on a maybe he just corrected it, well, then that's up to you. But you haven't provided evidence from your book.
How do you know it's wrong?
Because of Luke 1.
Brother,
the reason why we know it's wrong is because my position.
Are you talking about historically wrong, or are you talking about he's reflecting the story wrong?
He's retelling the story wrong.
When you say wrong, you mean when you say wrong, you mean historically, or he's wrongly transmitting the story?
Luke has the original story until proven otherwise. This story existed in Luke 1 before Muhammad was even born. It predates Muhammad by hundreds of years. So now Muhammad repeats that story wrong. That my evidence stands. You are giving me a maybe. I'm giving you something that's facts.
I got you. All right. So
he repeats the story wrong. Can we at least admit that? From Luke 1, he repeats the story wrong.
Oh yeah. Okay. So you have an assumption here that if it's different from Luke, therefore it's wrong, and I don't grant that assumption. Now, there are circulating stories that are different stories of the nativity of Jesus that are circulating. Do we agree on this? There's a different story that Matthew has that Luke has. Do we agree on this?
There's a different story that Matthew and Luke has. No, I don't agree. I believe that
I
believe the canonical gospel authors are in unison with their teachings and preachings of what Jesus did.
Okay,
but
I got you.
We don't want to. Let's not shift to that.
No. But it's very relevant, because now I can posit, if it's the scholarly consensus point that Matthew has his own nativity story, Luke has his own nativity story, then there is the true nativity story that is circulating that they're adjusting. One has the virgin birth in a different way. Luke has the virgin birth in his own way. Then you could say, yeah, there's multiple other versions circulating that they have common material from. However, there's differing material between each other because they're giving different stories. Now, that's the scholarly consensus.
We can deal with that on a later date, but we're dealing with Muhammad, who you believe is a prophet, in Matthew and Luke and Mark and John. We're all in unison trying to preach the same message. Muhammad was just simply not, because you're opposing that he's changing the things that they taught and preached. So now you have to deal with Muhammad, and that's a whole completely different thing. So the issue is Muhammad here, who's supposed to be a prophet, who's supposed to be a part of the Abrahamic faith, who's pointing you back to these gospels. 4136 says anyone who denies these books have gone astray. Yeah. You have to justify why he's telling people that these books are true, and then why he's retelling stories that are found within and without of those books accurately and inaccurately at times. So when I gave you,
your life just finish up because I have to go. So I'll come back. Okay.
Okay, so when I gave you this position here, right, on Luke, and the reason why I gave this is because I feel like it's one of the most detrimental ones, because we can clearly see the story being retold wrong, and for me, it seems like what I heard from you is that you said it was maybe it could be this. So I'm hearing an assumption from you, but I'm actually hearing actual facts from me, which is I can pull Luke and I can show you the story that existed before Muhammad was even born, and I can show you Muhammad repeated it in his Quran. I actually have the evidence
I
that
got
he
you.
retold this
All right.
story wrong.
All right, I got you. So, look, I'm gonna say my bit here, and then I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna drop you, and I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. So my bit is in response to that, the fact that Luke's nativity story isn't the earliest one we have. We have Matthew's. Now Matthew differs from Luke. That's my position. That's the scholarly consensus.
What is the
And the fact
story
that, brother, I
about
just let you speak, man. I need to go. Just let me make this.
Yeah,
last,
but the
we can,
nativity
we,
story
we can carry
Muhammad
on and
and
go back.
condescending.
Life. We can carry on and go back and forth once I come back. Just let me say the statement, and I'll come back. Okay. So, and don't interrupt me because I didn't interrupt you right now. So the point being is Matthew. We have a nativity story that comes before Luke. I'm taking the scholarly consensus that says they are taking from common material. Matthew and Luke take from common material. That's why they both have a virgin story. But they're also taking from different material, or they're adding their own stuff. That's why there's differences. That the evidence itself that that's the case is the fact that Matthew and Luke both exist. They have different stories, and they both tell stories about a virgin. That means there's a previous story talking about the virgin story that we can posit is the original one, which is going to be the Quran's one. That's the evidence. Now, I can give you more evidence once I come back. We'll discuss more about the reason why it's consciously edited, and then I will give you the historical account why I believe the Quran's account is more historical. So let me just come back and we'll do that, okay?
Okay, so is this like an accurate 5 minutes or what?
Yeah, just about five to, I don't know, 10 minutes or something, like 5 minutes minimum, 10 minutes max. I'll just need to go pray, and I'll be back, okay?
All right, cool.
All right, bet. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Just putting on pause here, and I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Just a little here in Australia, okay? All right. Can you hear me?
Yo.
Yo. Okay, I can hear you as well. All right. 1 second. All right. All right, guys. So we agreed before that we're gonna continue again for another 15 minutes. So I'll stop here at 1:45 where I'm at, 1:45 p.m. And then we'll continue on to the Christian dilemma that I wanted to run during the stream. And then at 2 p.m. my time, I'm gonna end the stream. Okay. So let's continue here. So what point we're at? Still on this John the Baptist.
Yeah. So we're still on you being able to prove that this is a conscious edit and not an actual just false retelling of the story.
All right. So I'll give you one last point, right? So the last point is going to be that there's an equalization between Jesus and John the Baptist within the stories that shows that it is intentional. The Gospels, the Gospel of Luke in particular, denigrates the family of John the Baptist, and that's why the Quran comes and elevates Zechariah and elevates John the Baptist. One example I can give you, besides the fact that the name change happens, so the name isn't associated with the sin.
Can I just add this because I think you're still not getting what I'm saying. Your reasoning as to why he said what he said and his thought process on why he was saying it, I have no problem with that. My point is that if it doesn't,
so you're agreeing it's conscious?
No, I don't agree. Oh, well, I agree. Yeah, it's not a conscious edit.
Conscious edit.
Not a conscious.
Okay.
No, not a conscious edit. Yeah, no. See, because I can't say yes to that, and then you put edit behind it. I don't agree that it's a conscious edit. I agree that he's saying what he's saying. Like he's saying what he's saying. Now,
it has to be for a reason, right?
Well, of course, if he heard this story and he truly believes that what he heard and what he's repeating to other people is true, then yes, he's consciously giving them the story that he believes is true. I don't have a problem with that. Even if you give me a breakdown on why you think he did it and who he's elevating and who he's not, that still does not clear up the fact that the prior story was told different. So you're saying that he's doing this in light of correcting something where nowhere in your Quran does it ever say any of these biblical passages are being corrected by a Muhammad's revelation or Muhammad.
I got you. Okay, live. So I'm gonna just so everyone's tracking here, so everyone can understand what's being said. We have two things. We have one, there's two hypotheses, and we're not going to get into whether it's historical or not, or whether Gospel of Luke is the earliest. We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that after. First, we're going on the segment of he is saying something intentionally. Now, either he's saying it intentionally this way because he's taking it from a source other than the Gospel of Luke, and then he says the wrong story. There's that hypothesis, what you're saying, or there's the second hypothesis, which what I'm positing there isn't a conspiracy oral tradition where John the Baptist is elevated and Zechariah is elevated. I'm saying there's no conspiracy oral tradition. Rather, he hears the Gospel of Luke and he knows the Gospel of Luke, and then he edits it consciously. That's my point.
Right. That's the point. So he hears the Gospel of Luke from who and when? You don't have to give me a name of the person, but I'm just saying from who. When did Muhammad ever come in contact with the Gospel of Luke, therefore correcting it?
Okay. Is it more likely he's hearing it from someone transmitting the Gospel of Luke or a conspiracy oral tradition?
I'm saying that he's hearing it from someone, not someone who's right in front of him with the Gospel of Luke. No, I don't agree with that. So I'm asking you, if you're posing that, I'm posing that he heard stories. I'm not posing that Muhammad was sitting down with somebody with the Gospel of Luke. Okay. I'm not.
Why not? Why not?
Because it wouldn't make any sense for him to turn around and say something like it would be even worse. Like my position on that is helping you, because it would be even worse if he sat with someone who read out of the Gospel of Luke and then he went and said something the exact opposite. And
that proves general confirmation.
No. You got to pay attention to the ending of that, the conclusion. And if we're posing that he's not speaking to God, from my position, if he's not speaking to God, that makes it even worse.
Because it's not historical now, right?
Look. Is
that it? Just yes or no? It's because now it's not historical. It's contradicting Luke. Is that why?
It's not historical and it's inaccurate to what he heard. So
exactly. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I get you. I get you.
Let me just give you a very very small example. If I have this book here, okay, corrections in early Quranic manuscripts. If I read from this book and I tell you something out of this book, and you do a live stream tomorrow and you say things that I said, but you add things that I didn't say, and you mix up my story to where there's some truth into what I said, but then there's also falsehood mixed in it. Did you consciously edit what I said, or did you just retell what I gave you out of this book inaccurately?
Beautiful. If there's no good reason to believe that this edit is more true than the previous thing that you said, then it's more likely that he's actually getting stuff wrong. I agree with you. However, this big however, the point is I can address the historicity issue that you have here. I can address it. And even if I couldn't address it, we have independent reasons to believe in the prophet's prophethood. And once we establish that, these things aren't no longer an issue. However, I will not appeal to the independent reasons. I will appeal to in the context of this. However, first we need to concede, at least I'm giving you a good probable account that it's not unlikely, very unlikely, that the Prophet ﷺ is getting it transmitted by someone from the Gospel of Luke, then he edits it. I think, independently of whether I'm Muslim or not, that is way more likely. He hears it from the Gospel of Luke, someone transmitting it, and then he edits it as he pleases because he doesn't like certain parts.
Okay, that's what you're opposing. Yes. He edits it likely as he pleases. He edits it as he pleases on the authority of who?
Now the question is whether his edits are actually historical or not, because we don't know if he's receiving revelation from God or not. Now I'm going to give you the point. The point is,
if you granted me my position where Allah is not in play here, he's editing this on the authority of who? That's why I said that.
No, exactly. And this edit is evidence he's getting it from Allah. Actually, this evidence I'm going to give you because he gets it more historical than the Gospel of Luke. I'll show you.
How does wait? But that doesn't make any. But
I'll show you.
That makes no sense.
Let me get to the point, dude. Let me make the point.
Okay, I gotta write this down because I gotta write that down because I gotta remember that. That dude. You put him sitting with someone reading Luke and Allah in the same boat as to why he can correct.
The point is that you don't believe it's from God. That's granted. That's fine.
Right, you're refuting.
But this edit,
Allah back into the picture.
Brother, this edit shows you he's getting miraculous knowledge, because how is he editing in the 7th century being illiterate and he gets the historical Jesus so right? That's my point. Now I'm going to give you the point. I'm going to give you the point now.
That's the thing. It's not an edit.
Now, can we agree?
Accurate retelling of what he heard.
Can we agree that the Quran depicts John the Baptist and Jesus?
Wait 1 second. Let me ask you this real quick. Can we at least agree that it's from my position, it's an inaccurate retelling of what he heard? Therefore, I don't have to agree that it's an edit.
Yeah, from what you can see so far,
it's an inaccurate retelling of what he heard.
Okay, we can agree in what you've seen so far. There's sufficient reasons to think that he's editing something he heard from Luke. However, it seems like he's getting the historical details wrong because Luke has different details from him, and Luke is our earliest source. That's your position so far, and you justified so far in holding that.
No, my position isn't. No, my position isn't that he's.
Man. All right, go ahead.
Dean, my position isn't that he heard from somebody reading Luke. For you put that second part in there because you said why
not, bro? It's more likely. Where's the evidence of a conspiracy oral tradition? Where is it?
That being more likely is your addition to what I'm posing.
Okay, can you show me why it's not likely?
I'm saying I don't hold that view because if I were to, it would be even worse for the position that you hold as trying to refute for a conscious edit. What I'm saying is that I'm at least giving Muhammad a little bit of grace to hear the wrong story.
Fine. That's fine. Don't give him grace. That's fine.
Okay. No, I am, because I'm not trying to be super aggressive with how I push back on the conscious edit, saying that, okay, well, if you're going to say he's editing something, well, then I'm going to pose that he's doing it on purpose ignorantly.
All right.
I'm saying that I'm saying he heard a false story and he repeated it as if it was true because he was ignorant of what was actually in the real scriptures.
Okay.
In that position.
Our life. I have a question. I have a
5
question.
seconds.
On that point. No, brother.
No. Wait.
I just have a. It's on
But
topic. I'm gonna let you speak.
I promise.
I'm gonna let you speak.
But I
Life.
gotta
I'm gonna let you speak.
conclude.
It's just a
5
quick
seconds.
question.
I just need
It's just a
5
quick question. You can add
5
that to.
seconds.
You can add that to your answer. I'm
It's
just
gonna
gonna ask
get
you a question.
jumbled up.
The
Okay,
it's not gonna be jumbled up. It's on the same topic. Do you have any evidence, whether it be manuscript, patristic citation, or a heretic saying it, or some other church saying it? Do you have any evidence that the story in the Quran is found anywhere else outside of the Bible? Show me the evidence.
That's a problem for you. I don't.
No, that's a problem for you because you're saying it's not from Luke.
I actually wait. What's not from Luke? I'm confused. What are we talking about? I might have got mixed up.
It's either he's editing Luke or he's getting a conspiracy oral tradition. I'm telling you, him editing Luke is more likely.
Okay, so you're asking me if you're saying what evidence outside do we have of the story of 3 days and 3 nights, and where did he hear it from?
Yeah.
The argument is that he's hearing stories. He's hearing all different types of things. I didn't ask you who specifically he heard the story from. The point stands. If he's not talking to God, well, then no random person would just randomly say something that differs from a biblical passage that already existed, but aligns with what the story in the narrative that was out there.
What if he believes? What if he believes he has the authority to make his own narrative because he's getting revelation from God?
But that cooks you because you have to put God back into the position in order to say I'm right.
No. All it takes here is that your hypothesis only has to change. Wait, life. Listen.
You're trying to clear up everything.
It only needs
I'm
to
hearing
change,
from God.
brother. Trust me. I'm tracking everything you're saying. Now here, when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad, all you need to say is,
if you got to go back and put God.
I know what you're saying, bro. It's not begging the question. Listen. All it needs to be
you have to put
you
God
need to
back
pause it, brother. I know what you're saying. In the 7th century, all you need to say,
to the
brother,
argument.
I'm not adding him back into the equation. All it
You
needs
just
to be
did.
is, life. All you need to pause it is, you don't have to say he's getting it from God. You just have to say he thinks he's getting it.
But you don't.
That life. Listen to what I'm saying. All you need to pause it now is he thinks he's getting it from God, and therefore he edits as he pleases. That is still a naturalistic explanation where you don't actually believe he's getting it from God. Now, that is a better naturalistic explanation than saying he's getting it from conspiracy oral traditions. I'm helping you out here, bro.
No, you're not helping me out. You're making it worse because now
I'm going to give you the claim now, but I'll let you reply. Then I'm going to show you why the Quranic account is more historical. I'm going to show you that Quranic account is more historical once you're done. Go ahead. Reply.
Of Luke is more historical. That's insane because there's literally
the Quran's more historical than the Gospel of Luke narrative.
There's literally no. Okay, sure. You could do that. We'll see. Now, here's the thing, bro. My position of him hearing a false story or hearing something that someone said about a biblical passage and retelling that false narrative, or mishearing something while he's out at travels and then going back and retelling the story inaccurately, stands because it's more stronger to say that is the case, other than someone sat next to him, read a book and told him about it, and then he went back and literally jumbled it all up. That makes it even worse. That shows that his memory wasn't spotty. That shows that this guy did not know what he was talking about, and he was ignorant when it came down to retelling stories that he literally heard from the exact book. Now, the reason why my position stands is because he's ignorant of the scriptures. If he can't read the scriptures, someone has to tell him what was said in the scriptures before. So whether he's, like I said, someone told him, right, or he heard it in passing, my position would stand way stronger than saying that he sat next to somebody and read it. And on the basis of Luke, it existed prior to him being born. The story was already being told.
I got you. It's more historical. I got you. Okay, let me reply now.
Exactly.
All right. So, look. All right. Point is,
and then there was another point, and I forgot it. That's why I was saying you should just let me speak because I forgot.
That's all good, bro. I'll let you go for a minute. You got everything off your chest. All good.
But because you did that jump in, I forgot
life. You jump in at times, and I have to forget stuff.
No, I get it. But if you're saying, I get it. But if you're saying 5 seconds or because it's a necessity to be added into that last point,
you can ask me questions likewise, bro. It's fine. We're going back and forth.
Better to just let me say that because I forgot what I wanted to say, bro.
It's fine, bro. I forgot stuff too because you interrupted. It's fine. All right, look. Now, Now, when it comes to these sort of claim that you're making, it's two sections. One is you don't think he's taking it from Luke. I'm just going to say it's conspiracy oral tradition, so I think it's very unlikely. And he's not jumbling it up because it's consistent.
remember it now.
It's consistent. John the Baptist and Zechariah are depicted as elevated people without the sins and without these denigrated depictions. Now, I just have a simple question before I bring the evidence that the Quran is more historical here. Do you believe the Gospel of Luke depicts John the Baptist and his family in a denigrated form? I can ask you a question.
What'd you say?
Yeah, the question is, do you believe that the Gospel of Luke depicts John the Baptist and Zechariah in a denigrated fashion?
In a denigrated fashion. I don't know. I'm not familiar how to answer that question.
Like in a lesser, there's a contrast between Jesus and John the Baptist, where John the Baptist is lesser. Is that going on?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Now the point, because obviously both miraculous births in Luke, there's the more miraculous case with Mary with her birth than in I think John the Baptist's mother. I think maybe Hannah or something.
How does this prove that your narrative of 3 nights?
It's more so. I'll get there. I'll get there because it's more historical.
Like you're gonna bring up. I'm not
going there, bro. I'm not. I just want to establish this point that he's more denigrated in the Gospel of Luke in this nativity narrative than in the Quran. The Quran actually gets us more right because look at this. In this academic source, Marcus T. Wald, a commentary on Q. Just let me finish, brother. Let me finish. You really need me to, brother. I'm gonna drop you. Let me finish because you're breaking my flow. You're breaking my flow. Just
the nativity has.
All right, man. Don't break my flow. Marcus T. Wald, the saying source of commentary on Q. You can take notes and you respond because I didn't interrupt you when you were speaking. You can replay to see that. Now, over here, NQ. John the Baptist is depicted in a non-denigrated fashion. And this scholar says that John the Baptist is depicted in Luke in a denigrated fashion. So we would expect that there's a story circulating where John the Baptist and Zechariah aren't denigrated in opposed to this propaganda that the Gospel of Luke and Matthew are bringing. Look what he says here. This is from page 48 of his commentary on Q, the earliest Gospel, the common material between Matthew and Luke. This makes it clear that the beginning with John the Baptist actually is a beginning with Jesus. The Baptist points to Jesus, the coming one. The composition of cycle 1 points to its center. The programmatic address of Jesus. Nevertheless, Q lacks the denigrating depiction of the Baptist as found in the later Gospels, like in Luke. For example, in the Gospel of Luke, the announcement of God's reign starts only with Jesus and not with John. And for Matthew, John is but a mere precursor, as Matthew 3 makes clear. In contrast to these conceptions, for Q, so this is saying from Q, John is more than a prophet. He is more than a prophet. For Q, the turning point of the aeons has already arrived with John announcing his baptism. Accordingly, John and Jesus are both depicted as children of wisdom. Apart from Jesus, the Baptist is the only active character in Q introduced by name. Nevertheless, after narrative cycle, John is not mentioned in Q. Here we can see Q's bridging function between the memory of the historical Jesus, who was a disciple of the Baptist, and the Christological centrism of later Gospels. So to summarize, I'll let you respond. The point is that in the earliest source of Jesus' sayings and of John the Baptist's life in Q, dated around 50 AD by scholars, John the Baptist isn't denigrated. The Quran's conception is there, showing that this is a proof for Islam now. Thank you. You just showed us that the Quran gets John the Baptist and Jesus better.
Okay. I got 2 questions. What is Q?
Q is the earliest gospel of the common material that's between Luke and Matthew. The majority of scholars agree today it exists.
Does it exist?
Yeah, majority of scholars agree it exists. Yeah.
Physically, does it exist?
Does your conspiracy oral tradition physically exist?
I'm asking a very simple question, Dean. Physically, does Q exist?
Yeah, it exists within Matthew and Luke. Yeah, the common
material.
Okay, yeah.
So is it a hypothetical theory?
It's a hypothetical document posited out of necessity.
I didn't ask you that.
As said by John Kloppenberg.
I didn't ask you that. Do the scholars agree that it's a hypothetical theory?
It's a hypothetical theory that's needed for it to make sense between all the data of the Gospels. Yeah.
Okay, so Q is a hypothetical theory. Therefore, how could it exist?
That's needed. A hypothetical theory that's needed.
How could this hypothetical theory exist physically?
Because to best explain the data between Matthew and Luke, Q is posited. It makes the best sense of it.
Yes, because it's a hypothetical theory, which means that it's
That is needed.
to justify.
Brother, can you say it's a it's a hypothetical theory that's needed according to these scholars, right?
No. It's a hypothetical theory, which means that it hasn't been proven to be true. That's why it's theoretical. Do you know what theoretical means?
Oh my God.
Do you know what
bro.
something being theoretical? Dean, do you know what it means to be theoretical? Do we have to pull up the definition right now?
Yeah. Just because something is a theory, it doesn't mean that it isn't proven. For example, do you believe in gravity?
Brother, if it's
you believe in gravity?
It's a
do you believe in gravity?
Theory.
Gravity's a theory. You know that, right?
It's a hypothetical theory. Do you agree?
Yeah.
It's a hypothetical theory, right?
Okay, I'm gonna repeat it for the third time.
Which means
it's a hypothetical. But you asked me a question.
Not exist.
It's no. It's hypothetical, posited out of necessity. Okay. The scholars say it's posited out of necessity to make best sense of Matthew and Luke. Okay, if Q doesn't exist, how do you explain the common material? Go ahead, explain it.
Okay, let me read this to you, and then we can go back because you're running away from the conscious edit.
No, I just proved to you it's more historical. I'm not running, bro. Don't shift the narrative. I just gave you a historical account.
Dean, you talked about a depiction of John, not whether the story of Zechariah being able to speak for 3 nights compared to the entire term of the pregnancy being historical. You went and showed how there's some sort of talks about John elsewhere compared to the Quran. That did not clear up Zechariah not being able to speak for 3 nights in your Quran being more historical. You jumped to something completely different. Now, let me read this to you. The Gospel of Q is not a physical document that was discovered. So let me hear you say it's a physical document again.
It is a document that we know exists because of the common material between Matthew and Luke. However, we don't have a physical copy today.
The existence is theoretical.
But brother,
correct?
Do majority of scholars accept it?
I don't care about that. The existence, dude, the existence is theoretical. Correct.
But I know the evidence. Okay. Give me evidence why it doesn't exist. Tell me what.
The scholars say it doesn't exist. I just read it to you.
Which one?
Where? Dude, what do you mean?
Just because it's hypothetical, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. What are you talking about? What?
Dean, please do not be dishonest with your audience, bro.
Life. Just because something's hypothetical doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Dude, it's a consensus that the Gospel of Q is a hypothetical theory amongst scholarly research. Now let's go back to Luke and Zechariah in your Quran, and which one of the stories is actually more historical instead of dealing with a physical document that was never found, as we literally just talked about.
No, the scholars believe it exists. You're equivocating. Just because they say it's a hypothetical doesn't mean they don't believe it exists. So
you claimed it was a physical document, but I just showed you that no physical document of Q was.
You don't have to find it to know. Okay. Let me put it this way. Yeah, if you have a crime scene and you hypothesize in this hypothetical scenario, when I see this crime scene, what's actually happened here is this guy's grabbed a hammer and hit him on the back of the head. That's a hypothetical situation that's occurred. Now, we can't see that tangibly. That doesn't mean that it didn't. That doesn't mean that it didn't really happen. Now, if someone comes up, wait, let me finish. You're
taking the position.
So it's the same. So it's the same way. Just because you can't see it tangibly, it doesn't mean that didn't really happen. In the same way, just because you can't see tangibly Q, it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Now, John Kloppenberg, in his work, Q, the Earliest Gospel, he says that Q is posited out of logical necessity. Do you agree with John Kloppenberg when he says Q is posited out of logical necessity?
Okay, thank you. So if Q is posited out of logical necessity and you're willing to use Q, then I am positing out of logical necessity that Muhammad heard the wrong story and retold it.
Where's your evidence? My evidence of Q existing is the common material.
Thank you. Now
What's your evidence?
Hold on. Now all of a sudden evidence matters. So when I'm asking you for evidence, hold on. So notice how
I can give you evidence why Q exists. You want to give you?
Notice how when I'm asking you for evidence of Q, right? Yeah. You're not able to give it to me because the people who coined it, the scholars who coined it, it literally admits that it's a hypothetical theory. and they
Out of
they
necessity, yeah, that they pause out of
they
necessity.
reconstructed it for answers that they are looking for. Now, the problem that you're having, Dean, is that you are being what is it called? A hypocrite when you're wanting to use Q and saying that it's a logical necessity, but then when I use my theory as a logical necessity, you're saying, "Oh, no, this doesn't work."
The difference is your one isn't actually out of necessity because you don't have good reasons to believe it. There's no good reasons to believe.
You don't have a rebuttal.
There's no look. I'll tell you why.
Your only rebuttal is Allah.
Q exists. Life. The Q exists because the common material between Matthew and Luke are verbatim the same a lot of the time. The only thing that explains this is either Luke copied from Matthew, Matthew copied from Luke, or Matthew and Luke copied from Q.
Yeah, most scholars, your only rebuttal is Allah.
Most scholars say that Matthew and Luke copied from Q. Now, this earliest source shows us a early historical memory where John the Baptist isn't denigrated. Therefore, I have justification to say that Luke is doing propaganda against John the Baptist family to elevate Jesus. It's so simple.
Dean, notice how your only justification for what I'm posing is Allah, and that's why I want Bro, because we're gonna go.
Is Q Allah for you?
I'm not about to. Q doesn't exist. I'm not gonna debate you about a hypothetical theory. I want to talk about the text. You went to something that doesn't exist and you said that it's physical. You're lying.
Just because it's hypothetical doesn't mean it doesn't exist, dude. What? If something's hypothetical, does that mean it doesn't exist?
Bro, their hypothetical theory was documented on paper. Yes.
Doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Their hypothetical, dude. The actual Q that they're claiming existed does not exist.
How do you know?
There's no evidence of that.
No, I'll give you the evidence that exists.
What we have evidence is of their theory that was documented using the gospel authors and what they align with.
Okay, you can't. Okay, look. If you're gonna say Q doesn't exist and there's a different hypothesis, you need to give a different hypothesis that better explains the data. So if Q doesn't exist, is Luke copying from Matthew or Matthew copying from Luke? Those are the only two other positions, basically.
Yeah, according to you, those are the only two positions. But you're not gonna sidetrack out of Luke and Zechariah.
Brother, you can't just tell me Q doesn't exist and not give me an alternative. What?
The scholars say it doesn't exist.
Who?
What do you mean?
Who?
Dude, I'm gonna say this one.
Just because they say it's hypothetical doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, dude.
Okay, watch this. I'm gonna read you something.
Yeah, read it. Go ahead.
I'm gonna read you something, bro. Okay, watch this.
Go on.
Okay. The Gospel of Q is not a physical document that was discovered, but a hypothetical text reconstructed by scholars. It is a scholarly theory used to explain the similarities between the Gospels of Matthew and Luke that does not appear in the Gospel of Mark. Anybody can do this. Anybody can do this, bro. I could have done this myself. And I could have came up with some sort of hypothetical theory, theorizing how this came to be. And then I would put these two, what they have, the similarities together, create that document and say, this is, Q. And among scholars, we can discuss and talk and put the research out. And there would be my Gospel of Q theory out there in the world. I'm not here to talk about that because I'm not here to discuss hypothetical theoretical texts with you. I'm actually here to talk about Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John.
Brother, your whole claim is that the oral tradition is a hypothetical. What? Your whole thing is that the oral tradition is hypothetical.
I never said the oral tradition is hypothetical. What are you talking about, bro?
Do you have okay? Do you have it tangibly with you?
Dean, this is.
Do you have it tangibly with you?
You're failing, dude.
Do you have it tangibly with you? The oral tradition that you're talking
about.
You're
failing. You're failing.
Is the oral tradition that talks about John the Baptist and Zechariah? Do you have it with you?
Dean, you're failing.
Do you have it?
I deal with documented scripture, not oral.
Okay, where's the documented scripture that John the Baptist and Zechariah were highly elevated? So show me.
Oh my gosh, bro. Did you not just say it? Did you not just say it?
Okay, you quoted a scholar. I'm going to quote a scholar here. Scholars did not invent Q out of a fascination for mysterious or lost documents.
Oh my
Q
God.
is posited from logical necessity. So
congratulations.
So what the point is that scholars posit this because it best explains the data. Nothing else explains it better. So which hypothesis explains the data better between Matthew and Luke, the common material, rather than Q? What better explains it? Go ahead.
Brother, I'm not here to talk about a hypothetical theory. How many times do I
You have to.
explain
You have
that?
to, because I'm saying it's historical, and if it's historical,
Brother,
then I have justification.
I'm not about to go back and forth about someone else's hypothetical theory that you wouldn't even accept in accordance with Islam. If I go into Q
What do you
right
mean?
now, I could use Q to debunk Islam as well. And then you're just going to say he's consciously editing Q as well too. The problem that you're having is that
No, nothing in Q contradicts with Islam.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay. So when Jesus is referred to as the Son of God and refers to the Father, I guess that
That's
doesn't.
fine.
I guess
That's
that doesn't.
fine. That
Okay,
where
so call
where in
Allah
the
your
where in the Quran and Hadith?
Okay,
Wait,
call
we
your
can talk,
okay.
we can
Call
talk about
Allah your Father and call Jesus the Son of God right now.
where in the Quran or the Hadith says
Call
that,
Allah your Father and call Jesus the Son of
because
God.
you're strawmanning my position. My position is in that in the past it was allowed possibly for prophets to call Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Father. There's no evidence in the Quran and Sunnah to conflict with that. Can you give me a source that conflicts with that from the Quran and Sunnah?
Yeah, nowhere does it ever say that your God allowed Jesus to ever be called the Son of Him.
Nowhere does it contradict it either.
It
So it's
does
possible.
because it does.
Where?
He says that he has
Where?
no sons.
Show me. Show
Your
your screen.
Quran. Your Quran says that he has
Show
no
me. Show your
sons.
screen.
Bro. What do you mean?
Show me your screen. Okay.
Brother
I'll
Dean,
wait.
stop wasting my time.
I'll wait. I
I'm
want
not
to see the source.
gonna play games.
You made a claim. I want to see the source. Where does he say you can't call Allah your father or Allah can't call you his son in any context where it's metaphorical?
I'm asking you, does Allah have a son named Jesus?
It's possible in the past that
No,
he was termed
according to the
the
Quran.
Son of God in the same. Wait, let me finish my
According to the
answer.
Quran, does Allah have a
Let me
brother?
finish my
Does Allah
answer.
have a son
Live.
named Jesus?
Live. There is nothing in the Quran and Sunnah that contradicts the idea that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Jesus the Son of God in the same sense. Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. In the same sense in Psalm 2:7, where David is called the Son of God as the Davidic messianic king. In that sense, there's nothing that contradicts Islam with that. No.
Does Allah have a son named Jesus? Is what I'm asking.
In a metaphorical sense, it's possible that he was termed that way. Yeah.
I didn't ask you if it's possible. Does he?
In the meaning of son, as in servant, in this metaphorical way, yes.
Okay. So, Al-Baqarah 116 says, they say Allah has taken a son. Exalted is he, rather to him belongs whatever is in the heavens and the earths. All are devoutly obedient to him.
Okay. But so
does
that
this,
yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Wait, so what is it? Is he not saying in that verse that he doesn't have a son?
Okay. They say Allah has offspring. Who's they?
Brother, it doesn't matter. Does Allah have a son?
Yes, it does matter.
Does your God have a son named? Does your God have a son named Jesus?
We use Ibn Kathir here. I'll help you out here. Ibn Kathir can help you out. Okay. They say Allah has offspring. Indeed, you have brought forth a terrible evil thing, whereby the heavens and earth are almost torn, that they ascribe a son to most gracious, but not suitable for him, that Allah should beget a son. There is none in the heavens and earth, but comes unto the most gracious as a servant.
Right
verily, he knows each one of them and has consulted them upon counting.
But it is not suitable. But it is not suitable that the most gracious that he should beget a son.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So does he have a son, a begotten son named Jesus?
We're gonna get there. Okay?
Does he have a begotten son named Jesus?
Brother,
according to the biblical
brother, we're getting there. We need to read. I'm giving you the context before I give you the response. The context for this verse, as reported from this hadith, the son of Adam has denied me. That is not his right. He has insulted me, and that is not his right. As for the denial of me, he claimed that I'm unable to bring him back as he used to be. As for insulting me, he claimed that I have a son. All praise is due to me. It is unbefitting that I should have a wife or a son. Is this in the sense of a?
Doesn't matter in a sense.
Is that yes? It doesn't matter because.
So is Jesus metaphorically the son of God?
Yes, as I'm going to get to now.
Every single time. Islam,
yes, in the past, yes, brother.
No, not in the past. It doesn't just stop.
In the meaning of son of God, if you mean in the servant sense, yes, that's fine.
Is Jesus metaphorically the begotten son of Allah, bro?
In this metaphorical sense of servitude, yes, that's fine.
Yes, no, canonically. So
yes, Quran, brother. What do you mean by begotten son of God when you say it? Tell me.
Wow, canonically, Jesus is the begotten, metaphorically the begotten
son
of
the same way that David is the begotten son of God in the metaphorical way. Yeah.
Allah. I'm talking about Allah. We're not talking about the Bible right now. Quranically,
God. Yeah, Quranically, there's no issue in saying that Allah has a metaphorical son.
No, I don't care about there's no issue with saying is he, because the Bible says clearly he is.
What do you mean by begotten?
I mean what you mean. Metaphorically begotten.
Servitude, yes. Servitude, that's fine. Yeah.
Not servitude. Metaphorically begotten son.
Yeah.
You see how you don't know? So let's stop
brother,
playing
brother,
around with you.
you're doing this game of no. Brother,
stop
you're
playing
doing
with you.
life.
Stop
You're
playing
doing
with you.
you're doing this
You
game.
don't even agree with Q.
Life. You're doing this game of
You don't even agree with Q.
life. You're doing this game of bait and switch. I told you from the beginning, servitude,
What bait
servitude,
and
servitude.
You wanted to
then,
talk
then
about
you
Q.
ignore the fact that I said servitude, and then you said, "Oh yeah, begotten son."
You know
in this
I'm not
way.
talking about servitude.
No, what?
I'm talking
No, I
about
don't.
him being
That's
his
why I
actual
was
son.
asking you.
I'm
Oh my
talking about
God.
him being his actual son.
Okay. Is other people besides Jesus called the begotten Son of God?
That's
Yes or no?
irrelevant to the point.
Yes, because that shows that you
does
can be
Allah-
begotten in a
Stop
metaphorical way.
Stop trying to run. No, stop trying to run off. According to the Bible,
I'm not trying to run off. When you say
stop-
begotten son, that's ambiguous.
Stop trying to
Because
run off.
other people in the
Jesus
Bible
is the-
besides Jesus are
Stop
called the
trying to run
begotten
off. You
Son
know,
of God.
Stop trying to run off. You know the Bible teaches that Jesus is the only begotten Son. Stop running.
If
Second
you
of
mean
all,
it
your
in your
God-
if you
second
mean
of
it
all,
in your
your God
Christian
doesn't
Trinitarian way,
Second of
no.
all, your God does not have a metaphorically begotten Son named Jesus. So the fact that you even said that is insane, and your viewers should be fearing you right now.
No, there's no issue. There's no issue if you
Let's
mean
go
in terms
back.
of servitude. There's no issue.
Well, this will be up, and we'll see if there's no issue later.
Of course
Luke,
there's
it's
none.
okay. So let's go back.
The same way people in the Bible are called the begotten Son of God, and it's metaphorical. Yeah.
Sure, Dean. Sure. So we just found out you really don't actually respect Q. You just want to use it at your leisure. When Q cooks you don't want to use it. And you have to justify and
almost
and
all
rub.
the scholars.
You gotta rub shoulders.
Life. Ibn
You gotta
Taymiyyah,
rub- you
Imam
gotta rub
al-Ghazali,
shoulders with you a
Imam
little
al-Tufi, Ibn Kathir, they all agree with me that it was possible in the past to be used.
Am I asking you about something that was possibly able to be used in the past?
I'm telling you the meaning. I'm telling you the meaning matches the terms.
Am I asking you about something that was possibly be able to be used in the past, or am I asking does your God have
if your
he
term
doesn't just
means what I'm
become-
saying?
No, he isn't just metaphorically. I'm
Yeah.
giving your position, what you're
Yeah.
trying to do. He
Yep.
isn't metaphorically the begotten son of Allah.
Literal, then no, that's
and
not
then no
possible.
longer metaphorically the begotten son of Allah anymore.
Say it one more time.
He doesn't stop being, even from your terms, metaphorically the begotten son of Allah. He doesn't stop being that.
No, agreed. It just the title stopped being used. Yeah.
So is Jesus okay? So is Jesus still the metaphorical begotten son of Allah?
What do you mean by that?
All right, Dean.
All right.
So Luke was.
Oh, no. You can stay there for a second. I'm gonna give you a Bible verse right now. I know, because I know you're gonna interrupt me when I bring it up. And then we'll give concluding remarks on Luke. Okay, here we go. So Exodus 4:22. Here we go. This is the hey, this guy. Why would you go? Why would you run for? Why would you leave, dude? What? I was literally just putting you down so you don't interrupt me. Then say to Pharaoh, this is what the Lord says. Israel is my firstborn son. I literally just dropped you for 20 seconds so I can get that point off because you kept interrupting me whenever I try to clarify. But anyways, he left. He ran. He didn't want to discuss the Christian dilemma like he promised. Yo.
Assalamu alaikum, Dean.
What's up?
How are you?
Yo, life, come back, bro, because you can't just give me a promise that you're gonna speak about the Christian dilemma and then leave as soon as I drop you down. Just because I drop you down for 10 seconds so I can pull up my source. Because you kept, bro, everyone can see you were constantly interrupting. I can't do that. I don't want to keep on speaking over each other. And everyone can see.
Ignorance is just
and also look at this. How much time was I giving him to speak on the panel and I wouldn't interrupt him? So many times. But as soon as I'm trying to make my point, he constantly interrupts.
He was like, I'm not asking if it's possible. I'm asking if he is. Like it's a got you moment.
Yeah. But guys,
Yeah, my
you see how
question.
life. If you don't come back up, you're just showing the Muslims on here that you guys can't defend your religion. I let you go at me for about an hour on this, and you can't defend Christianity. You can't defend Christianity when it comes down to it. You take the first opportunity to leave, dude. If I mute you or I drop you down for 20 seconds, you take the first opportunity to leave at that. Like, are you serious, bro? That's a B word das move, bro. Seriously, be honest. Anyways,
Yeah, I
Muslim.
really expected it. Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Yeah, I was listening to that last discussion with the other guest, Life or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking when we get into, because I get your argument. It's very logical, but of course they're not going to. They're just gonna always take the worst possible position. I feel like it's better if we always add like some verses that mention textual corruption. I feel that would strengthen the argument a little more.
Nah, we've already used that with them. They're just disingenuous. This stuff is better. I literally proved. You guys just saw a proof for Islam right here on this live. Me showing that the Q gospel aligns more with Islam's depiction of John the Baptist and Zachariah, alayhim salam. Right? Because in the Q gospel, what do you have? You have John the Baptist depicted in a way where he's not denigrated. In Islam, in the Quran, he's not denigrated. What does that show? That shows that the Quran's actually giving a better historical account than Luke. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna end the live here actually. I let it go for way too long anyways. We're meant to go on to my topic. Anyways. Yeah, Barakallah Feek for the donations, guys. Barakallah Feek. Pharaoh versus King and Joseph story, Bob is anachronistic. Yep. Barakallah Feek. Aki, send this honest dance. Alright. That's not insult. He wasn't insulting. But anyways, Barakallah Feek for the donation. But he's just very disingenuous for leaving like that. You can tell he's being disingenuous because he's acting like there's only one definition of begotten son. Like, what? Of course there's not. But anyways. Alright, guys, I'm gonna end it here, inshallah. If there's anyone that wants to ask a quick question before I leave, E didn't get to come up yet. Yo.
Yo, hello.
Yeah, what's up? Salam.
Walaikum salam. No, I was just watching it. Didn't have any
Alright.
questions.
No
for
problem.
me.
So. Alright. Anyways. Wayak. Inshallah, you guys benefited from that. I try to keep it respectful. You know what happens with life. I can keep a conversation respectful. But he gets heated and screaming and interrupting. It's a lot. So, inshallah, you guys, yeah. Inshallah, you guys are benefiting from that. Dean, I just checked. Yeah, of course, it's not in Q, but I wouldn't even grant. Let's say hypothetically it was in there. There's nothing in there that contradicts with Islam. It's the meaning, it's the context, really. Because it's possible that David was called that in a very specific metaphorical way, like he's the Davidic king or whatever. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.